Imagine if you were sent from your school on a mission to the ghost world, where everyone is scared of ghosts. But here, our main character scares the ghosts instead and creates chaos all over the ghost world. So, don't miss this video because this manhwa is super interesting. So the world's got this whole new ghost thing going on. Like, seriously, ghosts are back, and they're roaming all over, even crashing college entrance exams. It's turned into this whole ghost-catching gig. If you can handle an A-level ghost domain, you get into the top universities. Clear a B-level domain, and you're set for a pretty prestigious school. Now, Lin Ma, he's kinda the underdog of his school. So there he is, chilling and gaming in class. The teacher's losing it and asks him, "What if you run into a ghost that got zapped to death?" Lin Ma's like, "Oh, I'd catch it and use it for power. Free energy. Baby." The teacher's not having any of it and asks, "What if you meet a red-dressed female ghost?" Lin Ma's cheeks turn red, and he's like, "Well, if she's cute, I'd bring her back to, you know, warm up my bed." The teacher's so mad she tells him to stand in the corner as punishment, but Lin Ma's totally stoked because he just made the teacher have an emotional meltdown. The system's like, "Congrats, dude, you just scored a bunch of cool stuff." He gets this awesome beginner's gift pack, and now he's got this killer emotional collapse contract technique. Plus, his ghost contract limit just went up by 2. Now he just needs to push a ghost's emotional breakdown to 99, and he can make a contract with them. So, Lin Ma goes all in and picks the A-level ghost domain. When he opens his eyes again, he's in this seriously creepy ghost domain hospital. He's not alone, though. He's there with the top 5 students from the whole province. In front of them floats this paper figure, which is basically their proctor for the test. This paper figure gives them the lowdown. The test is set in Vastwave City, a totally messed up place where 3 elite ghost control teams got wiped out, and everyone living there bit the dust. Their job? Just survive a day in this spooky hospital and make a contract with a ghost. If they manage to get rid of or contract an evil spirit, they snag the MVP title and a special reward, a green corpse ghost pearl. Oh, and the paper figure also hands out teleportation talismans to each of them. Then, with a creepy grin, the proctor kicks off the test. Everyone's freaked out, but Lin Ma's got this big grin on his face as he strolls in. He's like, "Let's go check out the beautiful nurse." The hospital's corridors are covered in bloodstains, and when Lin Ma turns a corner, he suddenly stops, looking totally freaked out. Everyone's freaking out, asking him what's wrong. Lin Ma shouts, "Ghosts, there are ghosts. Bad news, like, more than 50 of them." Everyone bolts, running for their lives. But when they get outside, they realize Lin Ma's gone. Then, they hear this laughter and see Lin Ma up on the 2nd floor of the hospital, waving at them like he's having a blast. He's like, "The ghost domain briefing said there'd be 20 ghosts. I just said 50 and you all bought it. Seriously, don't you guys get how ridiculous this is?" So, Lin Ma's just scored 100 emotional collapse points, and he's feeling pretty good about it. He's strolling through this creepy hospital, and as he passes the ophthalmology department, the system's like, "Hey, there's a medium fierce ghost in there." Lin Ma's eyes light up. He's like, "Sweet, a handicap ghost." He's about to head in when some dude with glasses stops him, all snooty like, "This place is too much for a loser like you." Lin Ma's like, "Alright, genius, after you." He watches these guys strut in, a big smirk on his face. A few moments later, the place is filled with screams. Turns out, there's this giant, glowing eyeball hanging from the ceiling fan, and it's messing with their heads. Lin Ma's totally relieved he didn't go in first. A girl with twin ponytails stumbles out, bleeding and gasping. Lin Ma's like, "What happened in there?" She tells him that the blood red eye traps people in illusions, and she had to bite her own tongue just to get out. She's all like, "Lucky us for going in. If a clueless student like you went in, you'd be toast." Lin Ma chuckles and says, "Yeah, I wasn't about to be the guinea pig. Early bird gets shot, right?" He watches the trio leave, grumbling and cursing, and then decides to sneak around. He presses on a wall, which makes the ceiling fan spin like crazy. The system chimes in, "Congrats, you got 20 emotional collapse points." Lin Ma's grinning, loving that his plan is working. The ghost, now super ticked off, yells, "Hey kid, turn off the fan or else." But before it can finish its threat, a rainbow starts floating out of its mouth. Lin Ma's like, "Did I just make a ghost puke rainbows?" Seeing the ghost's emotional collapse value hit 88%, he figures it's time for the final push. He says, "Yo, ghost, let's make a deal. Let me contract with you, and I'll turn off the fan." The ghost's like, "You think you can threaten me? I'm not scared." But then it starts puking rainbows again. The ghost finally gives in and says, Alright, just turn off the fan." "But my eyes are so dry from all this wind." "Get me the eye drops from the cabinet first." Lin Ma spots the eye drops and some super glue in the cabinet. He grins, grabs the super glue, rips off the label, and throws it over to the ghost while acting all grateful. The ghost feels something's off and is probably not too thrilled about it. "Damn it, why can't I open my eyes?" and he's all chill about it. He's like, maybe the eye drops expired? The blood-red ghost is losing its mind, cursing up a storm. You sneaky bastard, I can't believe I fell for your trick. Then the system's like, congrats, you just scored 50 emotional collapse points. And as the ghost's emotional collapse hits 99%, Lin Ma decides, no time to waste, and goes straight for the contract. The system's voice pops up in the ghost's head, hey, blood-red ghost, do you want to hand over your life to Mr. Lin Ma? The ghost's like, I'm a dude, I don't agree, screw you. But the system's not having it and continues, contracting in progress. The ghost's mind is blown, and it's like, when did I agree to this? Damn it. The contract goes through, and the ghost starts transforming into this bloody mist, zooming towards Lin Ma's right eye. Lin Ma feels this crazy burning sensation, and boom, the integration's complete. He checks out his reflection and notices his eye is now blood red, giving him serious Kakashi vibes. He checks out the ghost stats and sees it's an intermediate fierce ghost, but its loyalty is only at 3%. Lin Ma's like, bro, your loyalty is super low. The ghost's mental roar comes through, you forced me into this contract. Why should I be loyal? I want out. And just like that, the loyalty meter drops to 1%. The system chimes in again, hey Lin Ma, you can spend 200 emotional collapse points to get the first skill of any ghost. Without a second thought, Lin Ma makes the exchange and gets this wicked new skill, Pupil Technique, Blood Prison Illusion. It traps enemies who look into his blood-red eye, locking them in a brutal illusion where their movements are restricted and they keep losing health. The blood-red ghost, now a bit more chill, smirks and says, not bad, kid. I underestimated you. Its loyalty bumps up to 12%, with a remaining 88% still to go. Lin Ma's pumped and heads to the hallway, ready to try out his new power. He realizes he's got night vision and a wider view now, and he's like, man, I really hit the jackpot. Meanwhile, the top students are barely holding it together against some nasty ghouls. Just when it looks like they're done for, the sly-eyed dude comes up with a devious plan. He suggests leading the ghouls to Lin Ma so they can escape. Twin Ponytails is like, yeah, let's use him as a meat shield. At least he'll be useful for something. Lin Ma's completely clueless about their plan when they all start running towards him. The sly-eyed guy can't resist throwing some shade, saying, your end is near. Lin Ma's a bit confused until he spots a bunch of ghouls hot on their heels. But instead of freaking out, he's like, oh, this is my chance to shine. He activates his new blood prison illusion skill. In a flash, red ghostly beams shoot out from his eyes and hit the ghouls. Grinning mischievously, he grabs a chainsaw from a nearby spot and says, hey, little babies, daddy's here. What follows is a seriously intense scene with the chainsaw going full throttle. The three students watching from the stairs are totally green with envy. They're thinking, that crippled ghost should have been ours. The system notifies Lin Ma, congrats, you've earned 40 emotional collapse points. Seeing the other students all frustrated, Lin Ma just turns around with a big smile and says, thanks for bringing these ghouls to me. I wouldn't have collected these ghost orbs without you. So Lin Ma's totally crushed it, and these three troublemakers are now paralyzed with fear. He's got this intense look going, and the system's like, congrats, you've just scored 40 emotional collapse points. Lin Ma's grinning from ear to ear, soaking up the victory. He's thinking, man, this feels awesome. He's feeling super smug and starts gloating, bro, that ghost was my ace in the hole. Pretty sweet, huh? The blood-red ghost is like, don't get too cocky, kid. Even the best ghost needs a top-notch master to really show off its skills. Lin Ma's smirking, feeling on top of the world, when the system gives him a heads up about a high-level fierce ghost in the operating room up ahead. Lin Ma peeks through the glass and spots this seriously hot ghost playing an ancient zither with some serious flair. The ghost's got a killer figure, and Lin Ma's like, whoa, this ghost's got the face of an angel and the body of a devil. The blood-red ghost's loyalty gets a little boost, increasing by 5% thanks to Lin Ma's comment. Lin Ma jokes, so, is this like a mutual admiration society for old perverts or what? Just then, the sensual ghost seems to notice something and turns their way. Lin Ma's a bit taken aback and asks the blood-red ghost, hey, this ghost seems pretty harmless. Is she actually strong? The blood-red ghost is like, oh yeah, she's dangerous. Those ancient inscriptions around her could be part of some lethal melody. Lin Ma thinks for a moment and says, no worries, though. If we strike first and she falls for my pupil technique, she'll be totally under our control. But the blood-red ghost warns him, it won't work. She's blind and totally counters my technique. Lin Ma looks back inside and, sure enough, the ghost's eyes are tightly shut. Even though she's super attractive and high-ranked, she's got some serious defenses. Lin Ma wasn't about to give up that easily. It looked like his only shot was to make this ghost emotionally collapse and force a contract. The blood-red ghost quickly warned him, dude, don't do this. If you mess with her now, you're toast. But Lin Ma was too driven by his desire and didn't care. He figured, fortune favors the bold, and thought, I gotta have this ghost, no matter what. So, without a second thought, he pushed open the operating room door. The female ghost instantly perked up and yelled, "Who's there?" She started playing her ancient zither, and the intense music pierced Lin Ma's ears. In desperation, he shouted, "I'm a doctor. I'm here to perform surgery. Please stop the music." The ghost halted the zither music and asked, "Really?" Lin Ma quickly stepped in, extending his hand and saying, "Yes, if you don't believe me, just sniff for yourself." The blind ghost caught the scent of alcohol on him and seemed to buy it. She was thrilled and asked, "Why did it take you so long to get here? Can we start the surgery now?" Lin Ma prepped the surgical bed and said, "Of course, come on over and lie down." Then he pulled out this massive syringe and told her, "I'm going to give you some anesthesia. Ready?" The female ghost lay down obediently and said, "I'm ready, go ahead." Lin Ma felt a pang of guilt but quickly shoved it aside as he focused on the ghost's tempting curves. He thought, "For the team, I gotta go for it." He raised the syringe and poked it into the ghost's arm. Not forgetting his cover, Lin Ma asked, "Did that hurt?" The ghost shook her head, indicating it didn't. Lin Ma's grin got wider, and he said, "Great, I missed the vein, so I need to try again." He kept up the act, saying, "Why is your vein moving? Oh no, your skin is too smooth. Let me try again. I missed it again. Trust me, I'm a professional." He kept poking away, and finally, the exasperated female ghost grabbed his hand to stop him. The system chimed in, "Congrats, you've earned 40 emotional collapse points. The big-breasted ghost's emotional collapse is at 50%. Just 49% more needed for a forced contract." Scratching his head, Lin Ma said with a sheepish grin, "Sorry about that. I'll get it right next time." Outside the door, some classmates were witnessing the scene. A guy whispered in disbelief, "Is he seriously doing surgery on a ghost? This dude is bold. Does he have a few screws loose?" But then a girl's eyes widened in surprise as she remembered something their teacher once said, "Facing a ghost without fear can actually increase your chances of survival and even help you contract it." Watching Lin Ma's wild antics, she started to wonder if she might have been too quick to judge. Inspired by what they saw, the two students decided to give it a shot, hoping to find a ghost of their own to contract. Meanwhile, a figure known as the Paper Man was watching from outside the window with a mix of admiration and curiosity. He was impressed by Lin Ma's daring and strategy, eager to see how things would unfold. Back inside the operating room, the big-breasted ghost finally let go of Lin Ma's hand and said, "Seriously, cut it out with the needles. If you keep poking me, I'll be full of holes. Just start the surgery already." Holding up an electric saw, Lin Ma asked, "So, what kind of surgery are we talking about? Gender reassignment or breast augmentation?" The ghost quickly shook her head and said, "No way, I don't need breast augmentation. Actually, I've got gigantomastia and need to remove some tissue. It's super heavy and tiring to walk around with." Lin Ma, clearly excited, revved up the electric saw and teased, "Ah, what a shame to cut them off. How much are you thinking of removing?" The ghost replied, "About half." Lin Ma, with a mischievous glint in his eye, kept the teasing going. "So, which half? Left or right?" The ghost was losing her patience, but Lin Ma was having way too much fun with the whole thing. The big-breasted ghost snapped, "Are you out of your mind? Have you ever heard of a surgery where you only remove one side? It's gotta be even, both sides." The system chimed in with, "Congrats, you've gained 40 emotional collapse points. Emotional collapse level is now at 60%. Seeing his plan was working, Lin Ma grinned and swung the electric saw close to the ghost's ear. "So, should we cut the top or bottom, front or back? I'm thinking the front might not look so hot. How about we start from the back?" The system buzzed again, "Congrats, you've gained another 40 emotional collapse points. Emotional collapse level is now at 70%. Lin Ma hopped up onto the operating table, still teasing the ghost. "Do you want it minimally invasive or full of scars? Painless or super painful?" "Oh, wait, you declined anesthesia, so I guess you're going for the super painful option." The system pinged again, "Congrats, you've gained another 40 emotional collapse points. Emotional collapse level is now at 80%. The big-breasted ghost was fuming, but Lin Ma kept at it. "It's hard to control with just half. Why not go all the way? The hospital's running a promo. Get a card, push it to the brink." The ghost, now completely furious, roared, "Shut up, you're asking for trouble." In the next moment, she summoned her ancient zither and started playing it like a maniac. The system buzzed once more. Big-breasted ghost's emotional collapse is now at 99%. "You can now forcibly sign a contract." With a sly grin, Lin Ma said, "Chill out, sister. We're not done talking yet." At this point, the ghost had totally lost it. She screamed, "I just want you dead." Lin Ma replied coolly, "Sorry to disappoint you." With a quick move, he pointed his finger and said, "Sign." A voice echoed in the big-breasted ghost's head, "Miss Big-breasted Ghost, do you wish to become Mr. Lin Ma's contracted ghost? To respect and care for him in sickness and health, for richer or poorer, in good times and bad, and to be by his side forever? Do you agree? While she frantically played her zither, she yelled, "Hell no, I won't. Just wait until I tear you apart." The voice chimed in, "Miss Big-Breasted Ghost agrees. Contract signing in process?" Contract successfully signed. The big-breasted ghost yelled in disbelief, "Wait, I didn't agree to this. What kind of class is this?" Before she could finish, she turned into ghostly mist and was absorbed into Lean Ma's left arm. Lean Ma looked at the bold M-shaped mark now on his arm, his eyes sparkling with excitement. He realized this was the special pattern that showed a ghost was fully contracted. In the future, summoning her would be as easy as pressing that pattern, like ordering fast food. Feeling on top of the world, Lean Ma grinned. He just signed contracts with 2 ghosts and still had room for 1 more. Suddenly, an angry roar echoed in his mind. "You little pervert. Let me out now. You're kidnapping a female ghost." Lean Ma just laughed. "Didn't you complain about how heavy and cumbersome your breasts were? Now that you're fused with me, you don't have to walk. I'm solving your problem. Plus, it'd be a waste to get rid of something most people can't even get by eating papayas." He shook his hand playfully, and the big-breasted ghost was fuming. "I'll smash you with this basketball." The nearby blood-purple ghost, eyeing the wobbly basketball, grumbled, "You little troublemaker, you're really pushing it." Lean Ma, feeling pretty satisfied, ignored the 2 ghosts and checked out the big-breasted ghost's attributes. To his delight, her loyalty was already at 20%, pretty high for an advanced fierce ghost. He couldn't help but smirk, thinking, "So, even female ghosts can warm up to you, huh? She's putting on a tough act, but her actions speak otherwise. She might actually be a little fond of me since she thinks teaming up might get her out of this ghost hospital." Noticing the 300 points on the attribute panel, Lean Ma decided to dig deeper. Lean Ma had a major revelation. Ghosts come in all sorts of levels, like fierce ghost, malevolent spirit, evil spirit, wicked spirit, and so on. Each level's broken down into beginner, intermediate, and advanced stages. When you're at the fierce ghost and malevolent spirit levels, you can only use 1 skill. But once you hit the evil spirit level and above, you can activate and upgrade a 2nd skill. So, for now, both the blood-purple ghost and the big-breasted ghost could only use 1 skill each. Without missing a beat, Lean Ma decided to activate the big-breasted ghost's main skill. Exchange successful, big-breasted ghost now had the skill Sanskrit song claims life. In a flash, a ghostly aura filled the room, and an ancient zither appeared in her hands. Lean Ma's eyes lit up. This skill was off the charts. It used the zither's melody to mess with enemies' minds and could even stun a whole group. What's even crazier is that when an enemy's health drops below 5%, it can directly execute them. It was a game changer, way more powerful than the blood prison illusion. While the blood prison illusion could immobilize someone, the Sanskrit song could not only freeze them but also confuse their minds, basically turning them into sitting ducks. Add in the execution feature, and it was like a divine skill. With this epic new skill, Lean Ma realized he needed to contract a ghost with high damage potential next. Smacking his palm in determination, he decided to find either a high damage assassin or a tanky warrior ghost. Just then, the hospital's broadcast blared, "Attention all test participants. There's 1 hour left until midnight. Accommodations and meals are based on the number of ghosts contracted. Those with more than 1 contract can stay in the ICU. Participants with only 1 contract are assigned to the general ward. Those without a contract won't have accommodation rights. Special note, accommodation rights can be traded or gifted. Malevolent spirit level ghosts will roam at night. Participants without accommodation rights are in great danger." Lean Ma looked outside at the swarm of howling malevolent spirits trying to break in and smirked. "Blood purple ghost, big-breasted ghost, let's head out. Now that I've got 2 ghosts, let's see what this ICU has in store." Not long ago, twin ponytails and glasses man had peered through the ICU barrier, eyeing the clean beds and comfy bedding. They were feeling a bit envious compared to the general ward, which seemed like a pigsty. Twin ponytails shuddered at the thought of having to stay there, while glasses man tried to reassure her. "Look at the girl across from us. She hasn't contracted any ghosts and is crying. We're lucky to have a spot." But their mood shifted quickly when Lean Ma sauntered over. Glasses man, still salty about Lean Ma's ghost snatching, puffed up and said, "We've contracted a full ghost, not a half. We could crush your half ghost in a second. Let's see how cocky you are then." Lean Ma chuckled, "Glassman, you're just a slowpoke croaking toad. You're only fit to eat my dust." Glassman fumed, "You're just lucky. Without that half ghost, you'd be sleeping in the hallway. We'll see how you handle it then." Twin ponytails, looking disgusted, added, "The thought of sharing a room with someone like you is making me sick." Lean Ma calmly replied, "Don't flatter yourself. If you want to stay with me, you might want to eat more papayas first." The next moment, the crying long-haired girl shouted, all excited, "Oh, that's awesome. Are you giving up your spot in the general ward? I'll totally pay for it." Lean Ma just chuckled, "Nah, I'm sticking with the ICU. If you want it, you're gonna have to buy it from me." "What's up with that?" Twin ponytails and glasses man were caught off guard. Twin ponytails shot back, "With your pathetic 0.5 contract limit, you think you can actually stay in the ICU? If you manage to get in, I'll wash my hair while doing a handstand. Do you even know what you're capable of? Lin Ma waved them off, not impressed. Move aside. A good dog doesn't block the way. He touched the screen in front of the ICU, and with a quick scan, it lit up blue and the barrier vanished. Twin Ponytails and Glasses Man watched in shock as the barrier disappeared. No way. Isn't his talent limit supposed to be only 0.5? Twin Ponytails was fuming. Something's fishy. Talents are innate and can't change. He must have tricked the system. Congrats to the host for earning 150 emotional collapse points, but Twin Ponytails wasn't giving up. She yelled, "You little trash. Come out here. I'm gonna report you." Lin Ma, with his new points in hand, just flicked his ear disdainfully and strolled into the ICU. Inside, he found a steaming hot pot filled with all his favorites: meat slices, duck blood, and tripe. His appreciation for the examination committee skyrocketed. "This is perfect. I'm starving." He dug in right away. After stuffing himself, Lin Ma sauntered back outside, holding his bowl. He grinned and said to Twin Ponytails and Glasses Man, "This hot pot is amazing, way better than what you'd get outside." "Oh, right, I forgot. You can't come in. What a shame. Guess I'll just have to enjoy it all myself. A cold cola would make it perfect." Glasses Man and Twin Ponytails were seething. Glasses Man shouted, "Lin Ma, you just wait. Hey, skinny dude inside, come out. I'll give you 10 grand, sell me this room." "Who do you think you are, asking me to buy it for 10 grand? Get real." Lin Ma just laughed. "You guys are hilarious. I'm just here to rack up points, and the room is non-negotiable." Twin Ponytails, still fuming, tried to convince him. "I really want this room. Once you're done with the hot pot, just leave. Think about it. My dad's a high-level exec at the security bureau. Messing with me won't end well for you." Glasses Man, trying to please, jumped in. "Don't get all high and mighty. If you mess with Miss Sun after the entrance exams, you're done for." Seeing Glasses Man acting like a rabid dog, Lin Ma smirked. "Here's the deal. If you slap him for me, I might consider it." Glasses Man was fuming, ready to blow a gasket. "You're asking for it. Come out now, and I'll end you." Unexpectedly, Twin Ponytails held him back. "Chill out, calm down. Once we're out, I'll make it up to you." She whispered to Glasses Man, "I'll help you get revenge after we leave." Glasses Man reluctantly agreed. "Fine, do it." As soon as he finished speaking, a loud smack echoed. Twin Ponytails had lightly slapped Glasses Man's face. Congrats to the host for earning 20 emotional collapse points. Just as they thought they had won, Lin Ma commented, "Was that a slap? I barely heard it. You might want to try again." Glass Man was on the edge of losing it, but before he could say anything, another smack sounded. Twin Ponytails, without a word, slapped Glasses Man again. The system chimes in. Congrats to the host for snagging 30 emotional collapse points. After the slap, Glasses Man spun around like he was on a merry-go-round, looking dazed and shaking like a leaf. Twin Ponytails, her face practically on fire with rage, pointed at Lin Ma and demanded in a screechy voice, "Are you happy now? Get out of here." But Lin Ma, who was still riding high on those points, just laughed. "Sorry, no can do. You see, I never promised anything. I just said I'd consider it if you slapped him. I was just messing with you." Twin Ponytails was fuming, grinding her teeth. "You jerk, you broke your word." Lin Ma just chuckled, shrugged, and went back to his hot pot. "I didn't break anything. You just didn't think it through." Twin Ponytails, her eyes blazing with anger, yelled, "You're gonna regret this. Just wait, I'll make you pay." Lin Ma, still munching away, heard another voice announce, "Congrats to the host for obtaining 100 emotional collapse points." Lin Ma paused mid-bite, impressed. "Wow, Sun Lily must be really losing it if she's giving me 100 points all at once. Big win for me." Meanwhile, Glasses Man was still nursing his sore face, seething. "You messed with the wrong people, Lin Ma. Once you offend the Sun family, you'll be sorry." As the clock struck 11:15, the hallway lights started to dim. The only ones left outside were a tall guy and a long-haired girl. The girl was crying, clutching the guy's hand, and begging, "Please, don't make me sleep in the hallway. What if a malevolent spirit shows up? Can you please let me have the room?" Lin Ma, full and curious, perked up his ears. The guy turned to the girl, looking all heroic, and said, "Don't worry, I've got a warrior ghost. If anything happens, just call for me, and I'll come to the rescue." But the girl wasn't buying it. "Do you really love me? Will you protect me no matter what?" The guy hesitated for a moment. Then the girl threw herself into his arms and said, "Since you've got a ghost, you're definitely better at fighting than I am. If anything happens, I'll beg Sun Lily and everyone else to help you. I just want you safe." She looked up and gave him a passionate kiss. "Wu Cullen, I love you. Would you sacrifice everything for me?" With deep emotion, the guy replied, "I'd take the room. I'll guard you." Lin Ma shook his head, thinking, "What a sucker." But as the guy got the girl into the room, he didn't notice the red mist starting to creep up behind him. Soon, Lin Ma, having stuffed himself, lay down and fell fast asleep, snoring so loudly it could be heard next door. Twin Ponytails, clearly peeved, was clenching her fists. Glasses Man seized the moment to stir the pot. Lin Ma must have cheated. How else could that loser with his terrible grades score such a sweet spot? And he won't even swap rooms. He's just enjoying watching you squirm? Twin Ponytails was livid. When has Sun Lily ever been treated like this? I'm gonna make him pay. But a second later, she screamed, "Ugh, there's dried blood all over this bed. How am I supposed to sleep here?" Proving he was a real bootlicker, Glasses Man quickly took off his shirt and laid it over the bed. "There, it's cleaner now. Rest up." Twin Ponytails gave him a grateful smile. "You really get it. Don't worry, once we're out, I'll make sure you get your revenge." Meanwhile, in the hallway, Wu Cullen was nervously checking his watch, hoping time would fly. If he could make it until dawn, he'd be free. But suddenly, a spooky sound echoed from the far end of the corridor, making him jump out of his skin. The sound of heavy footsteps echoed through the hall, and through the eerie mist, a pair of blood-red eyes appeared. The figure was huge, over 2 meters tall, decked out in a terrifying mask, and brandishing a chainsaw. Talk about a nightmare. This was a fierce ghost with a seriously creepy vibe. It kept mumbling about delicious human flesh, and Wu Cullen was instantly drenched in cold sweat. "Oh no, it's a malevolent spirit-level chainsaw ghost." Wu Cullen panicked. "I'm just a newbie. How am I supposed to deal with this?" The chainsaw ghost didn't give a hoot about Wu Cullen's fears and kept on coming, forcing him into a corner with no way out. Desperate, Wu Cullen decided to fight back. He pressed his arm and yelled, "Come out, broken axe ghost." In a flash, a ghostly face emerged from his arm, shrouded in eerie mist. There it was, a ghost wielding a broken axe, looking majorly ticked off for being woken up in the middle of the night. The broken axe ghost shot a nasty look at Wu Cullen before it could even complain. Then the chainsaw roared to life. The chainsaw ghost charged forward, screaming, "Meat! I want meat! I need to eat!" The broken axe ghost, now fully awake, was scared out of its wits. It turned to Wu Cullen and asked, "Kid, do you think I can take this guy?" Wu Cullen was at his wits' end. He had no choice but to go all in. He mentally directed the broken axe ghost to take on the chainsaw ghost. There was a loud clang as the chainsaw clashed with the massive axe, sending sparks flying everywhere. People in the general ward, woken up by the ruckus, watched in horror as the broken axe ghost got tossed around. Suddenly, a male student turned to a long-haired girl huddled under her blanket and shouted, "Hey, isn't that your boyfriend? Don't you care about him? Why aren't you helping?" But in the next second, the girl just pulled her blanket tighter and went back to lying down, acting like an ostrich with its head in the sand. She mumbled, "It's got nothing to do with me. I don't know him. Don't drag me into this." Her total refusal to help left everyone else just staring in shock. At that moment, Lin Ma chuckled and stepped up to the barrier, casually adjusting his clothes. "Alright, let's see if this chainsaw ghost is worth making a deal with," he murmured. Suddenly, a scream of pure agony echoed down the hallway. The chainsaw ghost's massive foot came down hard on the head of the broken axe ghost, and you could hear the chainsaw revving up as it sliced clean through the axe ghost's arm. The poor guy tried to fight back but couldn't even budge. A few sickening crunches later, the axe ghost's arms were chopped off completely. The chainsaw ghost, all hyped up, grabbed one of the severed arms and took a big, juicy bite, only to immediately spit it out with a look of disgust. "Ugh, rotten ghost meat tastes like crap. I want fresh meat," he complained, clearly not happy with his snack choice. In the next second, he swung that chainsaw toward the broken axe ghost's neck, and before another scream could escape, the axe ghost's head went flying right to Lin Ma's feet. But instead of freaking out, Lin Ma's eyes lit up. "Damn, this chainsaw ghost is a beast." Took down that broken axe ghost in no time, he thought, clearly impressed. And look at the size of him, big and tall, loaded with health points, and his attack power is off the charts. Lin Ma had a few tricks up his sleeve, like the blood-pulped ghost's blood realm illusion and big-breasted ghost stun. But what he really needed was a tough warrior ghost who could take a hit and dish it out too. And this chainsaw guy seemed like the perfect fit. "Yep, once dawn hits, I gotta figure out how to make a pact with him," he contemplated, already planning his next move. Meanwhile, after obliterating the broken axe ghost without breaking a sweat, the chainsaw ghost roared, "I need flesh. I need meat," and started closing in on Wu Kuan like a hawk swooping down on a clueless little chick. That's when Wu Kuan finally snapped back to reality and started panicking. "Xiao Qin, open the door. Quick, somebody get me out of here," he yelled. But back in the ward, Xiao Qin was hiding under a blanket, shaking like a leaf, whispering to himself, "I didn't hear anything. Nope, nothing at all. Don't drag me into this, it was your choice." Meanwhile, Wu Kuan just stood there, caught up in this ridiculous mess. Lin Ma was on the sidelines, like, "Yo, is this what love looks like between Mukwen and Xiao Qian?" Meanwhile, Wu Kuan was over there yelling for help like a maniac, but nobody was picking up the phone. And then, boom, that chainsaw ghost, the one with the creepy mirror, he catches a whiff of Wu Kuan's fresh flesh. Gross, right? In the blink of an eye, Chainsaw Ghost swings his chainsaw right at Wu Kuan. My guy had no choice, he stopped screaming, takes this big ol' gulp of air, and tries to dodge. But man, losing his ghost buddy really messed him up. He barely dodges another swing, then makes a desperate dive, trying to slide between the ghost's legs. But nope, Chainsaw Ghost is quick, he lifts his knee and bam, hits Woo Cohen so hard he goes flying, coughing up blood, and slams into a wall. Chainsaw Ghost, all hyped up now, is like, I want me some meat. He sees Woo Cohen all sprawled out, looking like he's got nothing left. So, naturally, he goes to town, raising his chainsaw, aiming for Woo Cohen's arm. Woo Cohen is screaming, trying to fight it, but it's no use. And then, wham! His left arm's gone. Chainsaw Ghost grabs that arm like it's a drumstick at a barbecue and starts chomping down. Oh, so good, so freaking good, he's saying with his mouth full, like some kinda weird foodie. But he ain't satisfied. I want more meat, more meat. He's eyeing Woo Cohen's leg like it's the next item on the menu and goes for another swing. Woo Cohen's in serious pain, but somehow he jumps away. Realizing he's about to get chopped into pieces, he desperately grabs a teleportation talisman, thinking, I'd rather fail this damn test than end up ghost food. But this talisman's like, super high quality or something, and with only one hand left, Woo Cohen can't rip it open. Chainsaw Ghost is ready for another swing, and Lean Ma's finally like, dude, use your mouth, bite it, tear it with your teeth. And Woo Cohen's like, oh, duh. He snaps back to reality, chomps down on that talisman, and rips it apart just as the chainsaw's about to slice his thigh. Next thing you know, there's this bright flash of gold light, and poof, Woo Cohen vanishes right in the nick of time. From somewhere far away, you can just faintly hear him murmur, thanks, Lean Ma. Meanwhile, the hospital's loudspeaker was blaring out an announcement. The Chainsaw Ghost, seeing his meal vanish right before his eyes, was absolutely livid. His ghostly aura was on fire as he roared at Lean Ma, where's my meat? Give it back. Congrats to the host for earning 40 emotional collapse points. The disembodied voice chimed in. Lean Ma, now cozy in the ICU, decided to have a little fun. He stuck his tongue out and teased the Chainsaw Ghost, come and get me if you can. If you catch me, I'll let you have a bite. This only made the Chainsaw Ghost even more furious. He stormed straight to the ICU's entrance, shouting threats like, you're gonna pay for this. I'll cut you down. He revved up his chainsaw and aimed it at the protective barrier. Lean Ma watched with a smirk as the barrier held strong, even with sparks flying everywhere. An idea popped into Lean Ma's head. He grabbed some leftover spicy hot pot base and poured it over his arm with a mischievous grin. Smell this. Does it smell good? Want a bite? Outside the barrier, the Chainsaw Ghost was practically drooling from the delicious smell of meat mixed with cumin and pepper. He pressed his face against the barrier, desperately trying to get closer to the source of the aroma. Seeing the ghost's reaction, Lean Ma started waving his seasoned arm around, making exaggerated faces to provoke the already hungry Chainsaw Ghost even more. The ghost, now totally fired up, swung his chainsaw wildly, trying to tear through the barrier. Congrats to the host for earning 60 emotional collapse points, the disembodied voice announced again. Just as Lean Ma was about to tease the Chainsaw Ghost even more, the ghost suddenly stopped. I can't break it. I can't get to the meat, he realized, frustrated that all his efforts were for nothing and the barrier stayed put. So, the Chainsaw Ghost turned off his chainsaw, looking totally bummed and ready to walk away. Lean Ma started getting a bit nervous. If he couldn't keep the ghost all worked up, he might not pull off that mandatory contract. Without missing a beat, Lean Ma started unlocking the barrier. Hey, dumb ghost, Lean Ma shouted as he stepped out. I'm right here. Want some meat? It's cumin flavored. The word meat was like hitting the jackpot for the Chainsaw Ghost. He spun around, all excited. Meat, I want meat. Meanwhile, in a regular hospital room, a guy with twin ponytails and glasses was watching Lean Ma's risky moves with his jaw on the floor. It was a mix of shock and twisted amusement. As the Chainsaw Ghost, drawn in by the cumin aroma, roared and charged at Lean Ma, nobody expected Lean Ma to zip back inside the barrier so fast. The Chainsaw Ghost crashed into the barrier with a huge thud. Congrats to the host for earning 50 emotional collapse points, the system announced. After a moment of furious pounding on the barrier, the Chainsaw Ghost started to walk away, looking defeated. But just a few steps out, Lean Ma popped back out again, shouting, hey, dumb ghost, come get the meat. Feeling insulted, the Chainsaw Ghost charged back, but Lean Ma, ever the trickster, jumped right back into the safety of the barrier. Everyone watched in amazement as Lean Ma played with the ghost like someone teasing a monkey at the zoo. They couldn't help but say, Lean Ma is such a sadistic madman. The glasses guy, who really didn't like Lean Ma, thought with a sneer, just wait until tomorrow morning when the barrier's down. We'll see how the Chainsaw Ghost tears Lean Ma apart. Lean Ma's constant teasing finally pushed the Chainsaw Ghost over the edge. The ghost, now totally defeated, turned, and ran off. But then, to everyone's shock, Lin Ma started chasing after him. Picture this, a high school kid madly chasing a malevolent ghost in an exam arena. Lin Ma wasn't about to let the ghost get away now that his emotional collapse was at 80%. He caught up and rolled up his sleeves, shouting, "Check out this freshly baked human arm right here." The smell of meat made the chainsaw ghost quiver with hunger. Without a second thought, he revved up his chainsaw, aiming straight at Lin Ma. "You think you can mess with me again? I'm gonna end you, right here, right now." But Lin Ma's face shifts, and he goes all serious mode, firing up his special eye power, the blood prison illusion. In a snap, Chainsaw Ghost is stuck, frozen in place with that chainsaw buzzing like crazy above his head. Lin Ma strolls up to him with this cheeky grin, swings his arm near Chainsaw Ghost's face, and taunts, "Come on, silly ghost, doesn't my flesh smell amazing? It's lean, but not dry. Juicy, but not greasy. Top tier, prime cut stuff." This move just breaks Chainsaw Ghost, like, totally wrecks him. He's biting his own tongue in frustration, practically drooling. Lin Ma sees Chainsaw Ghost's emotional meltdown is at 90%, just 9% away from locking in that contract. He starts feeling the pressure. Only a few seconds left on his blood prison illusion's 10-second timer, and Lin Ma decides to mess with him a bit more. He playfully slaps Chainsaw Ghost's face and goes, "Eat it, silly ghost. Don't you love meat? Here, I'm literally serving it to you on a silver platter. What's the deal? You don't want to eat anymore? Don't tell me you don't like it. Fine, I won't force you." And you know what they say, right? Never hit someone in the face. It's like a sacred rule, even ghosts have their pride. As soon as the illusion ends, Chainsaw Ghost loses it, like, big time. He's beyond humiliated and now filled with this intense ghostly rage. With a massive roar, he swings that chainsaw down, shouting, "You little brat, I'll kill you. I swear I'm gonna get you." Just then, Lin Ma sees the system prompt. Chainsaw Ghost's emotional collapse is at 99%. Boom, a big red button appears, force contract. Lin Ma's eyes light up, and he's like, "Oh, hell yeah, let's do this." Out of nowhere, this voice pops up in Chainsaw Ghost's head, all official like, "Mr. Chainsaw Ghost, would you like to become Mr. Lin Ma's contracted ghost? To respect him, cherish him, never leave or forsake him, and be his forever spooky sidekick? Do you agree?" And before Chainsaw Ghost can even process what's happening, the voice is like, "Thank you for your agreement. Congrats on the successful contract." Chainsaw Ghost is just standing there, totally baffled, yelling, "Hold up, I didn't say anything. I didn't agree to squat." But it's too late. Next thing he knows, he's turned into a wisp of ghostly energy and sucked straight into Lin Ma's arm. Lin Ma's grinning like he just won the lottery, checking out the new chainsaw tattoo on his arm, thinking, "Sweet, that's 3 ghosts under my belt now." Meanwhile, the exam proctor, this guy called Paperman, is watching everything go down and is totally gobsmacked. Like, just a second ago, Chainsaw Ghost was losing his mind, and now he's under contract? Even the big shots at the security bureau can't pull that off. Paperman's curiosity about Lin Ma just hit an all-time high. Suddenly, the hospital's PA system crackles to life. Chainsaw Ghost has been eliminated. Only one malevolent spirit-level ghost remains. Everyone, stay on your toes. Hearing this, Twin Ponytails and the rest are stunned. Glasses Man shouts, "No way. Lin Ma only contracted some blood puppet ghost. How could he possibly take down Chainsaw Ghost?" But just then, they see Lin Ma strolling in, cool as a cucumber. A message flashes in his head, "Congratulations, host, for gaining 40 emotional collapse points." Lin Ma can't help but chuckle to himself, "These two fools keep handing me points, and I'm not even trying. Man, my classmates are a real gift," and he's loving it, seeing all the envy, jealousy, and straight-up hate on everyone's faces. Lin Ma's just soaking it all in, feeling on top of the world. Lin Ma immediately pulled up the Chainsaw Ghost's attribute panel to get a closer look. Chainsaw Ghost, classified as a malevolent spirit-level ghost, was downright impressive. On top of that, it came with 2 powerful skills ready to be activated once contracted, a sweet bonus. The only downside? The ghost's loyalty stat was disappointingly low. But honestly, Lin Ma couldn't really blame him. He had pissed off the Chainsaw Ghost quite a bit in their earlier encounter. Luckily, Chainsaw Ghost wasn't exactly the sharpest tool in the shed. A little pork might win him over, Lin Ma thought, hatching a plan. Internally, he gave a quick shout-out to Twin Ponytails and Glasses Guy for unknowingly helping him rake in enough emotional collapse points to seal this deal. Without wasting any time, Lin Ma activated both of Chainsaw Ghost's skills. Ding! Congratulations! You've acquired skill number 1, Passive Bloodthirsty. Bloodthirsty LV.1. For every point of damage taken, Chainsaw Ghost's attack power increases by 2. The greater the damage, the stronger the attack. Ding! Congratulations! You've acquired skill number 2, Chainsaw Frantic Dance. Effect: Chainsaw Ghost goes on a wild rampage, swinging his chainsaw like a madman and inflicting indiscriminate AoE, area of effect, damage to everything in range. Surveying these new abilities, Lin Ma couldn't help but grin in awe. One skill boosted attack power passively, while the other unleashed devastating area damage. Talk about a killer combo. With these additions, Lin Ma felt unstoppable. He now had crowd control, a tanky ghost to soak up hits, and a DPS, damage per second, ghost to deal out punishment. With this lineup, I'm probably stronger than 90% of my peers, he mused confidently. But there was a catch. Lin Ma was only a first-level ghost master, and technically, first-level ghost masters were only supposed to handle fierce ghosts. Malevolent spirits like Chainsaw Ghost were a second-level territory. Third-level ghost masters? Now, they could wrangle evil spirits without breaking a sweat. For someone like Lin Ma, controlling a ghost of this caliber was risky business. One misstep, and Chainsaw Ghost might just turn on him. I'll literally end up as his next meal. Lin Ma shuddered at the thought. The only way to mitigate this risk was to boost the ghost's loyalty, fast. After some consideration, he decided to focus on that as soon as possible. For now, though, he had earned a break. Yawning loudly, Lin Ma collapsed into his bed, blissfully unaware of how tired he actually was. Mission accomplished, he muttered before drifting off. The next morning, refreshed from a good night's sleep and a hearty meal, Lin Ma casually strolled out of his ward, munching on a piece of bread. As luck would have it, he ran into Twin Ponytails and her group in the corridor. Sleep-deprived and disheveled, they glared at him with bloodshot eyes. The moment their eyes landed on Lin Ma's bread, their stomachs growled loudly, betraying their hunger. What, hungry already? Should have stocked up on emotional collapse points, he thought, relishing their discomfort. Skip breakfast, huh? Well, I've got some leftover hot pot soup. It'd be a shame to waste it on the dogs. How about I let you guys have it instead? Lin Ma taunted with a smirk. The group, already at their wits' end, instantly bristled at his sarcastic offer. You insufferable little twerp, one of them snapped angrily, unable to hold back. Ding! Congratulations, host. You've earned 60 emotional collapse points. Lin Ma practically beamed. It felt like finding free cash first thing in the morning. Just then, the door behind them creaked open, and Xiao Tian appeared. Her face was pale, and she looked just as battered as the rest of them. However, the moment the group spotted her, their hostility turned on her. All eyes narrowed in sharp accusation, the bitterness of her betrayal from the previous day fresh in their minds. Seeing the tension rise, Lin Ma decided to stir the pot. Miss Xiao Tian, he began mockingly, pointing at the dried bloodstains on the floor. Shouldn't you have something to say about that? Xiao Tian glared at him with disdain, clearly unbothered. I didn't force anyone to do anything, she snapped. Wu Kuan volunteered to give up his room, and he didn't even die. Why are you making such a big deal out of it? Her shamelessness made Lin Ma's blood boil. Didn't you say you'd kneel and beg for someone to save him? He shot back, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Funny thing, though, I didn't hear you begging last night. If Wu Kuan hadn't stepped up and sacrificed his room, Chainsaw Ghost would have dragged you out and turned you into fertilizer by now. Xiao Tian's face turned ghostly white at the harsh truth. Ding! Congratulations, host. You've earned 50 emotional collapse points. You know, Lin Ma said, sneering, you look like a walking QR code. Until someone scans you, they'd never know just how two-faced you really are. But now that Wu Kuan isn't here to protect you anymore, I wonder how you'll get by. Before Xiao Tian could reply, a sudden chill swept over the room, and the light dimmed ominously. Everyone froze as a shadowy, paper-thin figure materialized in the sky above the hospital. Its eerie voice echoed around them. A-level assessment, special mode activated. Battle Royale mode has begun. A mid-level malevolent spirit and 3 initial-level fierce ghosts have been deployed to hunt you. Survive until noon to pass. The announcement sent shockwaves through the group. Mid-level malevolent spirit? Even Chainsaw Ghost, terrifying as he was only an initial malevolent spirit. How could they possibly survive? The spirits most of them had contracted were low-level at best, barely considered fierce ghosts. Together, their power wasn't even remotely close to that of a single mid-level malevolent spirit. Yellow Hair, the most cowardly of the group, trembled visibly. And maybe, we should run, he stammered, voice quivering with fear. Twin Ponytails snapped, glaring at him as if he'd lost his mind. And where do you think we'd go? Straight into the spirit's lair? Genius plan. Amid the chaos, something caught Lin Ma's attention. Behind Xiao Tian, a sinister ghost began emerging from the shadows. It crawled toward her with unnerving slowness, its blood-red tongue slithering out like a snake, inching closer to her unsuspecting head. Lin Ma's eyes widened in alarm. No one else seemed to notice it. The ghost, its sickly pale skin stretched tight over 2 sets of sunken, rimmed eyes, was about to wrap its slimy tongue around Xiao Tian's neck. It suddenly clicked in Lin Ma's mind. After merging with blood-pupiled ghost, he'd acquired a peculiar ability, one that let him see certain spirits invisible to others. Quickly covering his right eye, he confirmed his theory. The ghastly apparition vanished from his view. He let out a silent sigh of relief. Thank goodness I merged with the blood-pupiled ghost. Turning his attention inward, he mentally addressed his ghost companion. Bro, this blood eye ability of yours is insane. Respect. The blood-pupiled ghost's voice echoed faintly, tinged with pride. It's just basic functionality. Keeping his enhanced eye trained on the cloaked ghost, Lin Ma slowly began backing away. He called out to the group, his voice tinged with urgency. You guys wanted to know where the ghost is, right? Well, it's literally right behind you. Predictably, no one believed him. The group had developed what could only be described as Lean Ma syndrome, an automatic disbelief in anything he said. Cut it out, Lean Ma, one of them snapped, irritation plain in their tone. Do you think this is funny? Xiao Tian chimed in with a sneer. You're such a busybody, always spewing nonsense. Why don't you? Her words were cut off by a sickening, wet sound. A ghostly claw tore through her abdomen, its long fingers punching cleanly through her torso. Xiao Tian gasped, staring down at the massive, blood-soaked hole in her stomach. Panic overtook her as she screamed, "Help me! Somebody! Help me!" The rest of the group turned pale, their cries mingling in the chaos. There really is a ghost, but where? We can't see anything. Xiao Tian thrashed wildly, but the invisible force gripping her grew tighter. In a final, gruesome moment, her head was torn clean off, flying through the air, and her torso split into two halves, collapsing onto the floor in a pool of blood. The hospital intercom chimed softly. Xiao Tian, out. The group stood frozen in horror, staring at the mangled remains. We didn't even see the ghost, and she was killed so brutally. Meanwhile, Lin Ma shook his head, exasperated. I told you there was a ghost behind you, but nobody ever listens. His voice was calm, even casual. He didn't feel the slightest pity for Xiao Tian. If she hadn't been so selfish, she might have just lost an arm last night instead of, well, everything. Without sparing another glance at the group, Lin Ma took off running. Now that the invisible spirit had begun its hunt, his game plan was simple. Survive until noon by staying one step ahead. With the blood eye ability giving him a unique advantage, he just needed to keep his distance from the ghost. As he bolted, something strange caught Twin Ponytail's attention. On the ground, Xiao Tian's severed arm began to twitch unnaturally. Slowly, it lifted itself into the air, as if being manipulated by unseen hands. Twin Ponytail stared at the bizarre sight, realization dawning. It's an invisible spirit. That's why we can't see it, she exclaimed. Lin Ma can track it because of his blood eye. He got it after merging with the blood-pupiled ghost. Quickly, she rounded on the group. If we stay close to Lin Ma, we'll know where the ghost is before it attacks. Let's go. Hearing this, Glasses Man felt a pang of bitter regret. His expression twisted as if he'd swallowed something sour. Damn it, we were the first ones to find the blood-pupiled ghost. That sneaky brat stole it from right under our noses. As Lin Ma ran, a sudden system prompt appeared in his mind. Ding! Congratulations, host. You've gained 40 emotional collapse points. Lin Ma stumbled slightly, confused. What the? How did I earn emotional collapse points by just running? Whose fragile heart did I break this time? Glancing back briefly, he saw the group frantically chasing after him, desperate and pale. With a sly grin, he muttered under his breath, "Guess being me is just too much for some people to handle." When Lin Ma turned around, he saw the three tailgaters hot on his heels, clearly intent on following him wherever he went. Their persistence annoyed him, but what bothered him even more was the invisible spirit that was chasing them all down. If this kept up, they'd unintentionally lead the spirit right to him. He needed to shake them off, and fast. Suddenly, the chainsaw ghost erupted from Lin Ma's arm with a guttural roar. "Let me out. I'm going to rip that ghost to shreds." Caught off guard, Lin Ma asked the chainsaw ghost why it was so agitated. Turns out, the invisible spirit had stolen food from him in the past. As a gluttonous ghost who loved his meals, the chainsaw ghost held a serious grudge. Seeing the ghost again now had reignited that hatred. But this posed a serious problem. Chainsaw Ghost's loyalty to Lin Ma was still shaky. If Lin Ma didn't help him settle this score, Chainsaw Ghost might rebel outright. Reluctantly, Lin Ma realized that allowing the ghost to go after its nemesis might be the only way to gain its trust. He skidded to a stop, spinning around to face the invisible spirit head-on. Seeing him halt, the three tailgaters stumbled to a stop as well, panic etched on their faces. "What are you doing? Is it safe?" one of them shouted. Lin Ma threw a glance over his shoulder, his voice calm but resolute. "If we keep running, we'll exhaust ourselves before noon. It's better to take a stand now." Yellow Hair, the most nervous of the group, broke into a frenzy. "What do you mean take a stand? You're the only one who can see the ghost. If you help us survive, I promise we'll repay you once we're out of this." Without responding, Lin Ma rolled up his sleeves, giving Yellow Hair a pointed look. "If you're so scared, then run. I'm done running. It's time to deal with this invisible spirit." Twin Ponytail scoffed, crossing her arms as she sneered. "What? Are you tired of living? That's a mid-level malevolent spirit. Even our teachers might not be able to beat it. You're asking to get yourself killed?" Glasses Man grinned slyly, his words dripping with mockery. "Maybe it's better if he dies. Then no one would challenge you for the MVP title." Turning to Twin Ponytails, he added, "Let's just sit back and enjoy the show." Before anyone else could say another word, a sudden whoosh filled the air. The invisible spirit had revealed itself. In an instant, it clung to the ceiling like a twisted, monstrous spider before leaping toward Lin Ma with its massive jaws wide open, aiming for his neck. Lin Ma's right eye flared red as he prepared to activate his blood eye ability. But before he could react, the invisible spirit blinked out of sight, only to reappear directly behind him as if it had teleported. Its speed was blinding. Lin Ma's heart pounded as he turned just in time to see its sharp claws racing toward his head, ready to crush it like a watermelon. The terrifying sight was too much for Twin Ponytails and the others. They shut their eyes, certain Lin Ma was done for. Unbeknownst to them, every move was being carefully recorded by ethereal paper figures floating high above the hospital. These figures transmitted the unfolding events back to the real-world assessment command room, where the instructors watched the trial in real time. In one corner, a buzzcut teacher watched grimly, his arms crossed as he sighed. Another 7 students from my zone failed, withdrew with critical injuries, and 3 are dead. Nearby, a white-haired teacher let out a tired breath, shaking his head. It's the same on my end. All 8 students failed. And one, well, he's been sent straight to the psychiatric ward. The mood in the room was heavy as more and more students were eliminated, their numbers dwindling with each passing second. The teachers couldn't help but lament the lack of truly capable candidates in recent years. Beside them, a stunningly attractive teacher with long legs and well-defined muscles, known as Teacher Amin, continued to study the assessment screens without a word. Curious, the buzzcut teacher leaned over. Amin, how's your group doing? Any promising candidates? Teacher Amin, her tone casual, replied, 4 of my students are still in the running. The buzzcut teacher raised an eyebrow in surprise. 4? That's incredible. Which school are they from? Amin sighed lightly. They're holding up, but one of them, that boy, he's actually taking on the malevolent spirit head-on. This comment immediately drew the attention of both the buzzcut teacher and the white-haired teacher, who crowded around to take a closer look. Watching Lin Ma turn to face the invisible spirit, the buzzcut teacher frowned skeptically. Taking on a malevolent spirit directly? He's too overconfident. Just because he got himself a contracted ghost, he thinks he's invincible. In contrast, the white-haired teacher couldn't help but admire Lin Ma's audacity. That level of courage at his age is rare. But, he trailed off with a sigh, knowing the overwhelming power of the invisible spirit would make survival a slim possibility. Amin shook her head. What a waste of talent. He's got promise, but this might be his end. Back inside the hospital, the others stood frozen, their mouths agape in astonishment. To their disbelief, Lin Ma had confronted the invisible spirit, and come out completely unharmed. Before they could process what they'd seen, Lin Ma summoned yet another ghost. This time, it was the voluptuous big-breasted ghost. With a wave of his hand, he activated her technique, the Sanskrit sound claims life. A melodious hum echoed through the room as a mystical force froze the invisible spirit midair, rendering it completely immobile. Yellow hair blinked in confusion, scratching his head. Wait, wasn't Lin Ma's contract limit only 0.5? How's he summoning multiple ghosts now? Glasses Man, however, couldn't believe his eyes. Can the contract limit be increased? First the blood-pupiled ghost, now this big-breasted ghost. Does he have a contract limit of 1.5 now? Yet as panic flickered in his thoughts, it quickly gave way to smugness. Even if he somehow bumped up his limit, mine's still higher. My contract limit is 2. Nothing to worry about. Unfortunately for Glasses Man, his confidence wouldn't last. Lin Ma simply smirked and rolled up his sleeve, revealing the chainsaw ghost sigil etched onto his arm. With a press of the mark, a loud beep resonated, and the imposing chainsaw ghost materialized beside him. Chainsaw Ghost wasted no time. Finally, let me at this thief, he roared, revving up his signature weapon. His hunger for revenge burned brighter than ever. The immobilized invisible spirit flailed desperately, fully aware of the incoming threat. Go ahead, Chainsaw Ghost. Tear it apart for me, Lin Ma ordered, gesturing forward. The chainsaw ghost let out a monstrous growl before raising his roaring chainsaw and launching an unrelenting assault. The invisible spirit's once imposing form stood no chance against his frenzied rage. How dare you steal my food? Chainsaw Ghost bellowed as he shredded the spirit's flesh to ribbons, the buzzing of his chainsaw filling the air. Chunks of the invisible spirit flew in every direction, and within moments, its health had plummeted to just 5%. Before it could recover, the big-breasted ghost's technique delivered the final blow, triggering the Sanskrit sound claims life. The immobilized spirit burst apart in a spectacular explosion, its fragments disintegrating into wisps of dark energy. What remained was a luminous pearl, a mid-level malevolent spirit pearl, that fell to the floor with a faint thud. Chainsaw Ghost stood over the remains, his chest heaving with exhilaration. His loyalty to Lin Ma had increased by 20%, bringing it to a solid 25%. As the dust settled, Lin Ma stared at the glowing pearl, still stunned by the turn of events. This had been far more effective than he ever anticipated. Lin Ma grinned widely as the system's notification chimed. This chainsaw ghost really is a foodie. His loyalty seems tied entirely to whether or not he gets meat. Guess I should buy him some pork when we're out. That'll bump his loyalty through the roof, he mused, chuckling to himself. With a satisfied look, Lin Ma bent down and picked up the malevolent spirit pearl from the floor. Selling this pearl should bring in enough money to keep Chainsaw Ghost well fed for ages, he thought gleefully. It's almost like the invisible spirit was settling a debt with him. Satisfied, he gave a quick mission accomplished and recalled both the big-breasted ghost and the chainsaw ghost. It was only now that Twin Ponytails and the others realized the full extent of Lean Ma's capabilities. Glasses Man's face paled instantly. His one point of pride, his supposed talent for contracting ghosts, had been thoroughly eclipsed by Lean Ma's 3 contracts. To him, this humiliation stung worse than death. Twin Ponytails didn't miss the opportunity to twist the knife. He not only contracted 3 ghosts but also activated their skills in combat. How remarkable. Her words hit Glasses Man like a hammer. Meanwhile, a flicker of malice sparked in her own eyes as she watched Lean Ma. If I don't deal with him now, he'll become an uncontrollable threat in the future, she thought grimly, clenching her fists. In the command room, the teachers were left speechless by Lean Ma's performance. He contracted 3 ghosts in one day? Exclaimed the buzzcut teacher. That's almost on par with the elites from the military district. The white-haired teacher, who had admired Lean Ma's boldness earlier, now felt validated. Not just that, he skillfully activated their abilities and managed the battle perfectly. His potential is extraordinary. The buzzcut teacher scratched his head, grinning awkwardly. Looks like I was quick to underestimate him. He's made me eat my words. The white-haired teacher nodded. His performance reminds me of Gao Shishir, the Security Bureau Director's prodigy daughter. At that moment, the minister entered the room. After being briefed on Lean Ma's exceptional performance, he turned to Teacher Amin. After the assessment ends, personally contact this student and arrange for his development. We must prioritize nurturing him. Back in the hospital, Lean Ma stood on the rooftop, overlooking the ghost-infested city below. Blood and malevolent energy blanketed the streets, and spirits roamed freely. Yet, instead of feeling fear, Lean Ma felt an electrifying rush of excitement. Someday, I'll contract all these ghosts, he thought confidently, his mind painting vivid images of his future dominance. I'll rise to the top in this chaotic world. A nearby paper figure, quietly observing them, shook its head in disbelief. These two, they don't even spare the dead. As the clock struck noon, the paper figure appeared at the hospital entrance, addressing Lean Ma and the others. The assessment is officially over. Now, it's time to tally the results. For Wu Kuan and Xiao Tian, who had dropped out prematurely, the announcement was a crushing blow. Their final score? 0 points. Yellow Hair managed to contract a single fierce ghost but failed to kill any, earning him a total score of 60 points. Glasses Man fared slightly better by contracting and defeating 1 fierce ghost, bringing his score to 70 points. Sun Lily outshined them both, contracting 1 fierce ghost and eliminating 2, which secured her an impressive 80 points. Finally, it was Lean Ma's turn. The paper man dramatically announced his results, having contracted 2 fierce ghost-level spirits and 1 malevolent spirit-level ghost, while killing 5 fierce ghost-level entities and 1 malevolent spirit. Lean Ma scored an incredible 90 points. The paper man didn't stop there. With a formal tone, he declared Lean Ma the MVP of the assessment and handed him a precious blue ghost pearl. Delighted, Lean Ma accepted the pearl, knowing that this upgrade material could unlock a second skill for his blood-pupiled ghost. Its capabilities had already proven vital during the test. However, when Lean Ma casually tossed the rare green corpse ghost pearl into a garbage bag as though it were trivial, Yellow Hair and Glasses Man could hardly mask their envy and bitterness. After the results were revealed, the paper man began chanting a mysterious spell. Flames consumed his body, creating a giant ring of fire around the group. Lean Ma took one last glance at the ominous hospital before being teleported back as the fiery circle engulfed them. Return to the real world. Inside the classroom, Teacher Zhou nervously prayed for the safe return of her students. Her anxious vigil was interrupted by a sudden glow as the teleportation screens activated on the students' desks. She sighed in relief and exclaimed, "They're back." But that relief turned to horror as students began teleporting into the room in gruesome conditions. Some were missing limbs, others clutched their faces, screaming, "I can't see. Someone, help me." Bloodied and broken, one student collapsed to the floor, desperately reaching out to Teacher Zhou for assistance. Without hesitation, Teacher Zhou sprinted out to summon help. The rescue team, already on standby, stormed the room with stretchers and medical supplies, attending to the severely injured students. Once the chaos subsided, Teacher Zhou began tallying the casualties. Only 20 students had passed the assessment, and of those, 10 were gravely injured. Then, something completely stunned her. Lean Ma walked back into the classroom unscathed. Rushing to his side, Teacher Zhou checked him over, expecting hidden injuries. Seeing his vacant expression, she assumed he might be suffering from psychological trauma. Wrapping him in a warm embrace, she whispered, "It's okay now. It's over. You're safe." But Lean Ma, still disoriented from the rough teleportation, felt a sudden, intense pressure on his chest. His face flushed as an awkward situation began to unfold. Quickly, he pointed at the monitor to deflect the moment. "Look, over there." Teacher Zhou turned to see the massive MVP display on the screen, showcasing Lin Ma's extraordinary performance. Her jaw dropped as she exclaimed, "How is this possible?" Lin Ma stood there, attempting to suppress a grin, as the truth of his remarkable achievement sank in for everyone present. The perpetual underdog, the one who always ranked last in class, had somehow achieved the MVP of an A-level ghost domain. Teacher Zhou's expression shifted from disbelief to pride in an instant. A wide grin spread across her face as she enthusiastically patted Lin Ma's back. "Well done, she exclaimed. "You're truly the student I always say has the most potential." But Lin Ma couldn't let her off the hook that easily. He replied, "Just yesterday, you asked me to stand outside the classroom as punishment. Forgotten that already?" Before Teacher Zhou could respond, her eyes were drawn to the garbage bag on Lin Ma's desk. With curiosity, she asked, "What's in the bag?" With a nonchalant tone, Lin Ma replied, "Oh, just some treasures I stripped off the dead in the haunted hospital." Her eyes widened in surprise, and she muttered in awe, "So, not only did you ace the terrifying assessment, but you also turned it into a looting adventure?" In that moment, Lin Ma's image transformed in her mind. What once was the class tailender now seemed like a rising star in the ghost realm. She thought, maybe this kid could be a reliable ally in the future. Suddenly, the teleportation screen next to Lin Ma lit up. Amidst the groans and cries of students returning bloodied and broken, out popped his classmate Black Little Fat, comfortably snoring away. Lin Ma broke into a cold sweat and thought, did this guy just sleep through the entire ghost domain assessment? Glancing at Black Little Fat's results, he chuckled and gave a thumbs up. D-level ghost domain, chaotic junkyard. Score, 60 points. He muttered to himself, truly the king of coasting. To sleep through the ghost domain and return unscathed, only you could manage that. Realizing Black Little Fat wouldn't wake with a pat, Lin Ma resorted to his ultimate weapon. He pulled out a wad of $100 bills and waved them in front of Black Little Fat. "Time to eat." The moment Lin Ma said the magic words, Black Little Fat jolted awake. "Food? Where?" he exclaimed. Seeing the drool at the corners of his mouth, Lin Ma teased, "Were you related to the chainsaw ghost in your past life or something?" The two burst into laughter, and soon began planning to celebrate their success at a barbecue restaurant. Before they could leave, Lin Ma's phone rang. His father, Lin Lan, spoke with concern. "Son, how did your exams go? Did you manage to pass?" Lin Ma smirked with confidence and replied, "Dad, you underestimate me. Listen closely, I was the MVP of an A-level ghost domain." There was a brief pause, then his father screamed in excitement. "Good heavens, MVP? A-level ghost domain? Is our family's ancestral grave smoking blue flames or what?" Hearing the commotion, his mother, Aunt Shuang, hurried over. Her voice cracked with joy as she said, "My dear son, you've done so well. Let's see anyone dare to call you a poor student now." His father, still in disbelief, added proudly, "If you run out of money, let us know. We'll sell the wheat harvest in a few days and send the funds. It's the least we can do for you." Lin Ma reassured them. "No need to worry about that. I found a ton of jewels in the ghost domain. Just make sure to hire someone to harvest the 40 acres of wheat." As the warm conversation unfolded, far away in a remote mountain field, Lin Ma's simple and honest, farmer parents weren't quite what they seemed. They stood amidst rows of severed heads laid out on the ground, their expressions cold and menacing. It seemed there was far more to Lin Ma's family than he could have imagined. A man in black lay on the ground, his eyes filled with rage as he cursed them defiantly. "Damn you! The Security Bureau will never let you remnants go." Upon hearing this, Lin's father's face darkened instantly. Without missing a beat, he slashed his scythe through the man's neck, his cold voice following the strike. "Damn the Security Bureau. I'll chop down every last one of those rotten fish and shrimps inside it. Mark my words." Lin Ma's mother, looking at the grim scene of heads scattered on the ground, voiced her concerns. "This is already the 7th wave this year. Won't the Security Bureau discover us soon?" Lin's father gave a reassuring chuckle. "They've probably just expanded their search radius. If things get bad, I'll make a trip to the provincial city." Lin Ma's mother, confused, looked at him in disbelief. "Why would you go to the provincial city? Wouldn't that just cause trouble for our son?" The next moment, Lin's father threw back his head and laughed maniacally. "I'll go straight to the Security Bureau in the provincial city and slaughter them all." Right now, Lin Ma and Black Little Fat were getting ready to enjoy a good meal. But as soon as Black Little Fat arrived, without hesitation, he ordered 200 skewers. That made Lin Ma suddenly worry if the money he earned in the ghost realm would be enough. Lin Ma couldn't help but wonder how this guy even survived in the ghost realm. While Little Fat was stuffing his face with meat, he said between bites, "When I first got there, I ended up contracting with a trash can ghost. Then I just hid inside the trash can and slept all day. I was starving." This strange way of surviving really shocked Lin Ma. He thought, "Damn, you're something else. No wonder you smell so bad." Little Fat laughed and said, "Too bad, brother Lin Ma, you're about to take off. Looks like our dragon and phoenix duo will have to split up. Don't forget your bro when you get famous." Lin Ma waved it off and said, whether I make it or not is a different story. I'm ranked last in the whole school in theory classes. But in Lin Ma's mind, now that he had a system, it didn't really matter what school he went to anymore. Just then, Little Fat pointed at the TV and said, "Hey, brother Lin Ma, look, a beauty." Lin Ma looked up. On the screen, Gao Shishir, the daughter of the Safety Bureau's director, was effortlessly taking down two powerful evil spirits. Lin Ma scoffed and said, "What's so great about her? If I had a dad like hers, I'd do even better." But he didn't know that his own father actually hated Gao Shishir's dad and wanted him dead. Hearing Lin Ma talk like that about his idol, Little Fat looked upset and said, "You're just jealous because you don't have what she has. Guys like us aren't even good enough to tie her shoelaces." Lin Ma looked at him and said, "Seriously, look at yourself. You chased after the girl next door, Tank, for 3 years and still got nowhere. You acted all desperate and got nothing in return. Congratulations, host. You've earned 10 emotional collapse points." Little Fat's face turned dark from embarrassment. After all, it was a pretty humiliating story from his past. To shake off the awkward mood, he just focused on eating more skewers and quickly changed the topic. "With your skills, Lin Ma, maybe you'll end up at Snow Phoenix Academy like Gao Shishir. When you do, don't forget to secretly take some photos for me." Lin Ma laughed and said, "No problem, I got you." As night fell, the two full and satisfied friends got ready to head home. Lin Ma casually waved down a taxi and asked the driver to take him to Bailan District. Once in the car, he started scrolling on his phone. Suddenly, the car jolted violently, almost making him drop his phone. Lin Ma looked outside and was surprised. The area was getting more and more deserted. This clearly wasn't the way to Bailan District. He quickly asked the driver to stop, but the driver didn't say anything. He just gave a creepy smile. A chill ran down Lin Ma's back. "Crap, I've gotten into a shady taxi." The next moment, the taxi suddenly braked and made a sharp U-turn before coming to a stop. Before Lin Ma could react, the driver opened the door, dragged him out, and pushed him forward. "Boss, the cargo's here." Lin Ma looked in that direction and noticed a pair of long legs in short socks and shorts. He couldn't help but think, this girl's got a great figure. But then the girl turned around, and her face was covered in creepy clown makeup. Her blood-red smile stretched all the way to her ears. She looked like Harley Quinn. Lin Ma's mouth twitched. "Seriously? I was not ready for this." "Congratulations, host, you've gained 20 emotional collapse points." The clown girl didn't like his reaction. "Did you just make fun of me?" Lin Ma suddenly felt nervous. This girl seemed intense. Her face looked kind of familiar, but he couldn't figure out why. Before he could think more, she stormed toward him and kicked the ground near his foot. She said, "I know you earned a lot of ghost beads in the ghost realm. Be smart, hand them all over. If I'm in a good mood, maybe I'll let you keep a kidney." Lin Ma was shocked. Wow, even in this weird world, there are people stealing kidneys? Trying to stay calm, he raised his hands and said, "Miss, just look at me. I'm skinny and weak. I've been frail since childhood. My kidneys are tiny, like date seeds. They're probably useless. But if you really want them, go ahead." The clown girl frowned. "Did I say anything about your kidneys? I'm talking about ghost beads." Lin Ma acted confused. "Ghost beads? Are those something to eat?" She glared at him. "Don't play dumb with me. Do you know who I am? I'm the leader of the Black Evil Gang. A month ago, I caused chaos from East Street to West Street. Even the Safety Bureau couldn't catch me. Aren't you scared?" Lin Ma looked at her and asked, "You didn't blink for that long? Don't your eyes get dry?" "Congratulations, host, you've gained another 20 emotional collapse points." She got even angrier. "Who cares if my eyes are dry? That's not the point." Lin Ma quickly said, "I was just curious. Doesn't not blinking for so long hurt your eyes? Won't it damage your cornea?" Now she was fuming. "Enough, stop talking about my eyes. Hand over the ghost beads now." "Congratulations, host, you've gained 60 emotional collapse points." Just then, one of her henchmen lost patience. He pulled out a knife and walked toward Lin Ma. "Boss, stop wasting time. Let's just rob him. I'll cut out a kidney to make you feel better." Hearing this, Lin Ma panicked, pushed past the clown girl, and started running. Crap, they're actually serious about the kidney. All three of them were caught off guard by his sudden dash. They immediately pressed a button on their arms and summoned their ghosts. "Come out, hit to death ghost. Come out, wine barrel ghost." Two ghosts appeared. The clown girl shouted, "Break all three of his legs." The wine barrel ghost jumped up and tried to smash Lin Ma with its barrel, while the hit to death ghost lunged with sharp claws. The ground cracked from the impact of the barrel, but luckily Lin Ma managed to dodge it just in time. Looking at the two terrifying ghosts, Lin Ma's expression turned serious. This was his first real fight against a ghost master. He couldn't afford to be careless. He remembered hearing about the Black Scourge gang in the news. They were just a bunch of petty criminals. Their threats were probably just for show. They shouldn't be too hard to deal with. Thinking that, he said, is this all you've got? Just 3 people? Doesn't look like much of a gang. The henchman got angry. Who are you looking down on, kid? He snapped his fingers and ordered the wine barrel ghost to use its skill, Drunken Haze. The ghost drank from its barrel and blew out a huge cloud of alcoholic fumes toward Linma. Linma quickly covered his nose. What the heck? Using chemical attacks now? But soon, he felt dizzy. Crap, it's a control skill. This is bad. As he started to lose balance, the clown girl laughed. Trying to act cool with me? Let's see how you handle our combo attack. She pressed her arm again and summoned 2 more ghosts, Bandage Ghost and Nightmare Ghost. Seeing them, Linma was shocked. What the hell? 2 high-level ghosts? The clown girl said, let's see how I make you kneel. She activated a skill, Bandage Wrap. The bandage ghost shoved its hands into the ground. Linma's face turned pale. He quickly used his own ability, Blood Pupil, to see underground. He spotted 2 bandages rushing toward him. I can't let myself get controlled again. Without wasting time, Linma started slapping his own face, hard, from every direction, to stay awake and alert. This unexpected move shocked the 3 opponents, making them think, this kid's really ruthless. Just as the bandages were about to reach Linma's feet, the clown girl thought excitedly, got you now, brat. But right at that moment, Linma lightly pushed off with his foot and jumped back, perfectly dodging the bandages. The clown girl and her team were stunned. No way, how did he dodge that? The clown girl looked at him in disbelief. How did he know where my bandages were? Her eyes then landed on Linma's red right eye. No, he has the blood pupil. That's a perfect counter to the bandage ghost. She quickly shouted to the driver and the henchman, all of you, attack together. The 3 of them, along with 4 ghosts, rushed at Linma. At that moment, Linma raised his left hand and tapped the M symbol on his arm. You think I'm weak or something? The Sanskrit sound claims life. Right away, the big-breasted ghost appeared and started playing its instrument. A strange melody filled the air, and the 3 people along with their 4 ghosts grabbed their heads in pain, looking confused and frozen in place. Without wasting time, Linma pressed the chainsaw icon. They outnumber me, so I need to end this fast, he thought. He shouted, come out, chainsaw ghost. Time to feast. The chainsaw ghost jumped out happily, swinging its chainsaw and charging forward. I'll go for the leader first, the clown girl. The others are just side characters. Right then, the clown girl's eyes were still unfocused, affected by the music. In the next second, the chainsaw ghost leaped over the other ghosts and aimed straight at her. With a loud crash, the chainsaw hit the ground. Suddenly, a dark light shone from the nightmare ghost. It moved quickly and grabbed the clown girl, lifting her into the air and getting her out of the music's range just in time. Wiping the sweat from her forehead, the clown girl looked at Linma in shock. This kid's strong. He's nothing like the students we've robbed before. He even used a crowd control skill so smoothly. He's way beyond high school level. Linma looked serious. He realized that the nightmare ghost's dark light was a rare passive skill that helps break free from control effects. Ghost masters really aren't easy to deal with, he thought. Then he turned his focus to the driver and the henchman. If I can't take her down now, I'll deal with these 2 first. He ordered the chainsaw ghost to attack them. Blood splattered. In a flash, the henchman's leg was cut off. The clown girl panicked and yelled at them to stop, but she couldn't help them. If she went back, she'd fall under the music's effect again. And this time, she wouldn't have anything to save her. But Linma wasn't happy with the chainsaw ghost. He had told it to go for the head, but controlling such a fierce ghost at level 1 was tough, so its aim was a bit off. Then, the chainsaw ghost suddenly stopped. It stared at the severed leg on the ground. Ignoring Linma's orders, it picked it up and started eating. I forgot this one's a total foodie, Linma sighed. He was about to give another command when the big-breasted ghost's music stopped. The skill's duration had ended. The other ghosts slowly regained control of their bodies. The henchman, now fully aware and in pain from his missing leg, screamed. But the chainsaw ghost didn't care, it just kept eating. Hearing the scream, the wine barrel ghost turned sharply and, furious, charged at chainsaw ghost, smashing it with its barrel. Chainsaw ghost flew back, the barrel broke, and the leg fell to the ground. Give me back my meat, Chainsaw ghost yelled. Why did you have to mess with a foodie? It grabbed the wine barrel ghost's head and stomped hard, smashing it like a watermelon. The driver and henchman were completely stunned. A ghost getting crushed with one stomp. The fury of a foodie was scary. Just then, the clown girl floated over and said, "We underestimated you. Didn't expect a high schooler to control 3 ghosts. We have to get our teammate treated for now, but we'll get you next time." She told Bandage Ghost to wrap up the henchman's wound while the driver helped him into the car. As the taxi drove away with the injured henchman, the clown girl looked back at Linma angrily. "I'll remember you, brat. This isn't over." Linma replied, "You're already defeated, and you're still talking tough? I'll be waiting. But next time, wear a skirt. Those pants block the view." The clown girl's face turned red with anger. "You perverted jerk. Next time, I'll castrate you." Congratulations to the host for gaining 30 emotional collapse points. But as she glanced back at him one last time, Linma had a strange feeling, like he'd seen her before. Then it hit him, the news he saw at the barbecue. Holy crap, I knew she looked familiar. Isn't that the idol from Black Little Fat Circle, Gao Shishir? He asked. But that only made him more confused. Gao Shishir is the daughter of the Safety Bureau chief. She can get as many ghost beads as she wants. Why would she bother robbing me for such a small amount? Lin Ma quickly checked his phone to compare the photo of Gao Shishir from the news. Then he turned to his ghost companion. Bro Ghost, with all your experience observing women, do they look the same? The blood-pupiled ghost squinted and said, after a professional analysis, their facial features are about 80% similar. Lin Ma gave him a thumbs up. Nice one, old pervert. Very professional. But the answer only made him more confused. This still doesn't make sense. Why would the daughter of the Safety Bureau chief rob me? And the news said she's really powerful. How did she lose to me so easily? The more he thought about it, the more his head hurt. Forget it, I'll just go home and sleep, he said. Then he remembered Chainsaw Ghost and Big-Breasted Ghost. Picking up the ghost bead left by Wine Barrel Ghost, he smiled. Heh, didn't expect to get something out of a robber. In this world, strength really does decide everything. But his smile didn't last long. Damn it, where even am I? Is there seriously no Uber here? Meanwhile, in an abandoned warehouse, the sound of crying echoed. The clown girl had called a ghost doctor to stop the bleeding from the stout man's injury. The doctor quickly stitched him up. The clown girl looked at the trembling man with a mix of worry and guilt. The stout man said, I'm sorry. I was useless. I let you down. The clown girl quickly comforted him. You've always been there for me. I'm thankful. This isn't your fault. We just had bad luck running into that guy. The driver said bitterly, if your sister hadn't stolen your fake ghost, you wouldn't have lost to that kid. The clown girl smiled slightly, wiping off her face paint and revealing her delicate features. Next time I see him, I'll make him pay for this. Back in the White Orchid residential area, Lin Ma kicked open his dorm room door. Damn that unlicensed taxi. I had to pedal a shared bike until my legs almost gave out. Too tired to change clothes, he fell straight onto his bed. Yawning, he thought, finally, I can get some rest. Suddenly, a ghostly crying sound came from the floor above, waking him up. The annoying sound made Lin Ma's eyes twitch in irritation. What the hell? It must be that landlord's son again, sleeping all day and singing all night. After thinking for a moment, Lin Ma came up with a plan. He tapped the M-shaped mark on his arm and summoned the big-breasted ghost. He said, here's what you need to do. Make sure he's scared so badly he wets himself tonight. Upstairs, the landlord's son was singing loudly into a microphone, with his parents sitting nearby, clapping for him. Son, you're singing so well. You're definitely the best singer in school. The boy got more excited. Really? Let me sing another one. But just then, a cold wind swept through the room, and the temperature dropped. The landlord's wife looked at the curtain swaying and asked nervously, why is it suddenly so cold? Could it be a ghost? The landlord tried to calm her. No way. The Safety Bureau already got rid of all the ghosts in this area. It's probably just a storm. The boy, annoyed that they weren't paying attention to him anymore, said, hey, aren't you listening to me? His parents quickly clapped again and encouraged him. But just as he was about to sing again, the lights went out. The landlord's wife screamed and jumped into her husband's arms. Don't worry, it's just a power outage, the landlord said. But then, she saw something terrifying. In the dark room, only the TV screen was glowing. On it was a woman in bloody clothes with messy hair, playing an old zither and laughing creepily. The woman and the boy both screamed, there's a ghost. Turn off the TV. The landlord quickly hit the power button on the remote, turning it off. Looking confused, he asked, what ghost? I didn't see anything on the screen. But then he saw his wife and son staring at something behind him in terror. There's something behind you, they said quietly. Startled, the landlord looked over his shoulder and saw a ghost woman in red floating right behind him. In a cold voice, she said, who dares to sing at midnight? Meanwhile, Lin Ma was lying in bed, hearing system notifications. Congratulations, host has gained 60 emotional collapse points. He laughed, that's what you get for disturbing my sleep every night. He waved to dismiss the big-breasted ghost. Soon after, he heard the landlord yelling at his son from upstairs. Satisfied, Lin Ma peacefully fell asleep. The next morning, when he went out to get his takeaway, he saw the landlord and his son, both with heavy dark circles under their eyes. Lin Ma grinned, Uncle, looks like you had quite a party last night. It was really noisy. Hey, what happened to your son? His face is all bruised. Did he get beaten up? The landlord sighed and waved his hand. Don't even bring it up. Our house was haunted last night. Playing along, Lin Ma said jokingly. Haunted? I didn't hear anything downstairs. Maybe it's because of your son singing? Already annoyed, the landlord immediately kicked his son. That's for your creepy singing every night. If you sing again, I'll give you a proper beating. Then he looked at Lin Ma and said, young man, you seem to know a lot about this stuff. Can you help us? Otherwise, none of us will be able to sleep. Lin Ma replied confidently, well, I graduated from a high school that specialized in dealing with ghosts. A little musical ghost? That's nothing for me. But about those 5 months of unpaid rent? The landlord quickly said, forget it. Talking about money between neighbors just ruins the relationship. With his goal achieved, Lin Ma smiled. All right then, since we're neighbors, I'll help. Let's check it out now. He followed the landlord upstairs and acted like a pro. First, he sprinkled salt all around the room. Then he drank a bowl of water and sprayed it everywhere. After that, he told the landlord the ghost was gone, but added that his son shouldn't sing at night anymore. The landlord agreed and praised Lin Ma's skills. As Lin Ma headed home in a good mood, his phone rang. It was a message from Black Little Fat. Lin Ma bro, where are you? Let's play. Time to rank up. Lin Ma rushed home and got into the game. In his past life, he was a top-tier pro gamer, so playing at this level was super easy. After teaming up with Black Little Fat, he picked the hero, Blood-Pupiled Ghostingye, to try out his skills. During the game, he noticed that their mid-lane, corpse-eating ghost, was getting crushed by the enemy, Bandage Ghost. So, Lin Ma hid in the bushes, waiting to ambush. He jumped out and used his Blood Prison Illusion skill. The Bandage Ghost quickly used a flash skill to escape, but just as he reached his tower, he turned around and used his Bandage Pierce skill. Lin Ma immediately activated the Blood-Pupiled Ghost's Retaliation skill, causing the bandage to bounce back and hit Bandage Ghost instead. Meanwhile, in an abandoned warehouse, a girl was watching the game while lying on a hammock. She looked furious. I'll get my revenge, she thought. Just then, Lin Ma's system sent a message. Congratulations, host has gained 10 emotional collapse points. Lin Ma was excited. Did that bandage ghost get mentally crushed? Looks like I found a new way to earn points. He started focusing on the mid lane even more. With every attack, his system kept popping up messages. Congratulations, host has gained 80 emotional collapse points. Eventually, with a godlike announcement, bandage ghost score hit rock bottom. 060. Back in the warehouse, the girl was sweating and looked pale. What's with this blood-pupiled ghost? Why is he only targeting me? Is he never going to stop? Lin Ma looked at the victory screen, feeling proud. Never thought I'd earn 100 points in one game. If anyone says gaming is useless, I'll prove them wrong. Suddenly, a friend request popped up on his screen. Heartless Clown wants to add you. Lin Ma laughed. Isn't that the bandage ghost from last game? Trying to add me just to complain? Not happening. He rejected the request. A second later, his system notified him again. Congratulations, host has gained 10 emotional collapse points. Lin Ma laughed to himself. He turned off his phone and started thinking. During the game, he realized that the retaliation skill of Blood-Pupiled Ghost was really useful. It not only blocked control effects but also sent some of it back. That could be very helpful in real fights too. So, he decided to feed all his ghost beads to Blood-Pupiled Ghost to level it up. Soon, several ghost beads turned into black smoke and entered the blood pupil in his right eye. The system showed, Blood-Pupiled Ghost's loyalty increased by 5%, now at 20%. It has been upgraded to a beginner-level malevolent spirit. Lin Ma smiled. Nice, a double upgrade. He continued upgrading its skills. After spending 500 emotional collapse points, he unlocked Blood-Pupiled Ghost's second skill, Retaliation. The skill effect cancels enemy control effects and reflects half of them. Uses 50 aura points. Cooldown, 180 seconds. Lin Ma was a bit disappointed. The cooldown's pretty long. But when he looked at his reflection and saw the 2 circles in his blood pupil, his mood improved. If this keeps growing, maybe it'll look like a Rinnegan someday. Just then, someone knocked on the door. Lin Ma was surprised. Who could it be at this hour? When he opened the door, the first thing he saw was a shiny bald head. An old man with a goatee was standing there, smiling. I'm Jai Feng, principal of Ares Academy. I've come to invite you to join our school. Lin Ma was surprised. Wow, I must be really famous now. Even the principal came to see me, but I've never heard of Ares Academy. He invited Jai Feng inside, still feeling unsure. Looking around the small room, Jai Feng said, your living conditions are pretty simple. Feeling a bit annoyed, Lin Ma replied, what does that have to do with me joining your school? Jai Feng quickly said, no offense. We'll give you a full scholarship, free tuition and accommodation. You'll save a lot of money. As he said that, he took out a brochure and handed it over. Lin Ma took it with a surprised look, thinking, full scholarship? Is this for real? The brochure proudly stated that the academy covered 16,000 hectares, making it the largest school in the province. It offered various majors, healer, tank, assassin, mage, all taught by instructors with at least a 6-tier Ghost Master qualification. Reading that, Lin Ma felt tempted. Ghost Master University charged 100,000 a year, which was a big burden for his farming family. A full scholarship sounded amazing. Without wasting time, Jai Feng placed an application form on the table. So, what do you think? Tempting, right? I personally selected you. If you enroll, you can choose any major you like. He even handed him a pen, clearly eager for Lin Ma to sign right away. Just as Lin Ma was about to sign, he paused. Before I do this, can you tell me the ranking of Ares Academy? We don't focus on rankings. What matters is what students learn. We aim to protect the people. You're not someone who cares about rankings, right? Something felt off to Lin Ma. Is your school one of those unrecognized diploma mills? Jai Feng laughed nervously and said, no way. Ares Academy is the largest school in Jiang province. We have so many famous alumni alumni, it would shock you. Still suspicious, Lin Ma said. Alright, then name some I might know. Zhai Feng started to stutter. Well, there's Zhang, someone, and Lu. Just then, the sound of heels came from the doorway, and a woman walked in. Your so-called large campus is only that big because 14,000 hectares are just empty graveyards, she said, giving Zhai Feng a look. Zhai Feng replied, but our average teacher qualification is 6th-tier Ghost Master. The woman said, that's only because you're the only teacher there. Of course, the average is high. Lin Ma was shocked. A school with only one teacher? Unbelievable. The woman took off her glasses and said, I'm Min, a teacher from Snow Phoenix Academy. Lin Ma shook her hand. Nice to meet you. I'm Lin Ma. His eyes were drawn to 4 unique symbols on her pale arm. Min took out another application form. Snow Phoenix Academy is ranked 1st in Jiang Province and 10th in the country. We'd be happy to have you. Now with 2 offers in front of him, it was clear which one was real. Realizing he'd lost, Zhai Feng awkwardly took back his form with a fake smile. Just then, Min's phone rang. It was a call from the head of the education department. As she answered, the voice on the other end shouted, withdraw the Snow Phoenix offer to Lin Ma immediately. Why? What happened? She asked. The official said high-ranking officers in the Safety Bureau, including Deputy Commissioner Sun, had blacklisted Lin Ma from all universities in the province. Lin Ma, hearing this, quickly understood, this must be Sun Lily's doing. Min got angry. Why block such a promising student? The official replied, that's not your concern. Lin Ma's academic journey is over. Snow Phoenix has plenty of other talents. The call ended, and Min looked frustrated. She looked at Lin Ma and asked, who did you offend? Leaning against the table, Lin Ma said, let's just say I've made some enemies. Min sighed. I'll try to petition the education department. You have talent. It shouldn't go to waste. She patted his shoulder. Lin Ma asked, but I don't have much influence. It might be hard. Why can't I study on my own if I don't go to a university? She said, because only certified universities can let you enter the ghost realm. Without access, you can't go to important ghost zones. And without theoretical knowledge from professors, you can't get a Ghost Master certificate. No Ghost Command team will accept you. She suggested he apologize to those he offended. If they forgave him, the blacklist might be lifted. Lin Ma's expression changed. Why should I apologize to her? Not finishing her off in the ghost realm was already generous. Clapping sounds came from the door. It was Zhai Feng again, who had been listening the whole time. Such courage. I like it, he said, handing over the enrollment form again. Who says no university will take you? Lin Ma asked, does your school really have credentials to enter the ghost realm? Zhai Feng proudly said, of course. We're fully accredited and recognized by the province. Lin Ma was surprised. The Safety Bureau is blacklisting me, and even the education department won't fight back. But you're still accepting me, Zhai Feng said. Aries stands strong. We don't care about the Safety Bureau's notices. Min said, you sure talk big. Seeing an opportunity, Lin Ma smiled and said, Principal Zhai, I really admire your principles. Zhai Feng happily handed the form again. Thanks. So, Lin Ma, ready to sign now? Lin Ma nodded and asked, Principal, does the tuition waiver still apply? Zhai Feng replied, of course. No tuition or accommodation fees. Lin Ma gave him a thumbs up. Just don't make me live near a graveyard, that's all I ask. Zhai Feng patted Lin Ma's back. Our dorms are in tall buildings with plenty of space. Don't worry. Let's sign the papers. As Lin Ma signed the enrollment form, Zhai Feng looked excited. Congrats on becoming a student at Aries Academy. Lin Ma knew deep down that since no other school in the province would accept him, Aries was his only option. Right after that, Zhai Feng asked, do you have any classmates who might want to join Aries? Bring someone in, and you'll get a green corpse ghost pearl as a reward. Lin Ma's eyes lit up. Without hesitating, he grabbed his phone and called, hey, Black Little Fat, I found an awesome university. Let's go together. Seeing how things were going, Min felt a bit regretful. The Safety Bureau idiots just lost another promising talent, she thought. Lin Ma then went to the ghost market to get some school supplies. As he entered, he heard a vendor shouting, fresh starving ghosts. Big sale. Curious, Lin Ma walked over and asked, Boss, what can these starving ghosts do? The vendor replied, first, devour. They can eat ghosts that are 2 levels lower than them. Second, hunger curse. They mark enemy ghost masters and their ghosts, making them feel hungry. It's a kind of minor control skill. Lin Ma thought for a moment. He didn't have any extra contract slots at the moment, and using points to expand his contract limit just for a regular starving ghost didn't seem worth it, so he decided to skip it. But the vendor noticed he was still standing there and tried to convince him. Young man, I feel like this starving ghost is meant for you. How about a final price of 500,000? Lin Ma frowned. The usual price for a starving ghost was only 100,000, but this vendor was asking 5 times that. Clearly, he was trying to scam a new student. So, Lin Ma decided to mess with him a little. Boss, this ghost looks alright. Can't you lower the price a bit? Thinking Lin Ma was interested, the vendor pretended to give in. If you really want it, I'll give you a discount, 400,000. But Lin Ma just smiled and tapped the cage. Okay, I'll buy it. But is your ghost ripe? The vendor was confused. What do you mean ripe? It's not a melon. Lin Ma stuck out his tongue and licked his lips. If it's not ripe, how can I eat it? The vendor and the ghost were both scared. What the hell? Is this guy a demon? He eats ghosts? Just then, Lin Ma heard a system notification. Congratulations, host has earned 20 emotional collapse points. Encouraged, Lin Ma kept going. This ghost is so skinny, there's no meat on it. We should weigh it first. Also, if I eat a starving ghost, won't I just get hungrier? Do you have a full ghost instead? One bite and you're full for a whole day. The vendor got annoyed. Get lost. I'm not selling to you. Congratulations, host has earned 100 emotional collapse points, said the system. Satisfied, Lin Ma walked away, smiling. As he left, he said, Boss, you look upset. Maybe keep some heart medicine with you next time. Meanwhile, Sun Lily was shopping for school supplies with her brother, Sun Mao. She looked upset. Cheer up, he said. Our dad got him blacklisted across the province. That bumpkin's done for. Still, Sun Lily was angry. I won't be satisfied until I confront him face to face. Just then, they heard someone bargaining. Sun Lily looked over and said, Bro, look, that's the guy who bullied me. Sun Mao immediately pulled her along. Watch, I'll get revenge for you. Lin Ma, unaware of what was coming, was still bargaining with another vendor. Boss, this ghost bead looks pretty average, and it has cracks. 400,000 is too much. Final offer, 20. The vendor stared at him. What, you're offering 20? Not even 20,000? Suddenly, a hand grabbed the ghost bead. I'll buy it at the full price, Sun Mao said, looking down on Lin Ma. Poor people like you should just stay home instead of ruining the name of ghost masters. Lin Ma's expression darkened. Oh, it's these arrogant jerks again. Trying to start trouble? Fine, let's play. Sun Mao pulled out a gold card and paid the vendor. Can't let broke people make ghost masters look bad. But instead of getting mad, Lin Ma laughed. A cracked ghost bead for 300,000? That's a scam. Only an idiot would buy it. It's like someone selling you off as a pig and you're still helping them count the money. Sun Mao looked at the bead more carefully. Sure enough, the cracks were obvious. He had been scammed, but he acted like it didn't matter. I've got money. I'll buy what I like. I like cracked beads. So what? You, a penniless mutt, can only talk big because you can't afford it, said Lin Ma with a sly smile. Then he suddenly stood up and shouted to the crowd, come take a look. There's someone here willing to pay a high price for cracked ghost beads. Don't miss this golden opportunity. Right away, the nearby stall owners rushed over. Hey handsome, take a look at this cracked ghost bead. It's been in my family for generations. It was originally priced at 8,888,000, but I'll give you a special price, just 8 million. Congratulations, host has earned 10 emotional collapse points, said the system. Sun Mao, overwhelmed by all the vendors swarming around, quickly took back his gold card. Sensing things were going south, Sun Lily grabbed her brother and tried to get away. Lin Ma watched them and said, trying to leave already? It's not that easy. He raised his voice and said, hey everyone, isn't this the son and daughter of Deputy Director Sun from the Safety Bureau? Don't tell me they can't even afford this much. They were ready to buy it just now. If they back out now, wouldn't that damage Director Sun's reputation? The surrounding vendors immediately chimed in. Exactly. The Sun family isn't short on money. Deputy Director Sun must be buying these to keep low-quality items off the market. He's doing it out of goodwill. Now caught in an awkward situation, the siblings glared at Lin Ma like they wanted to tear him apart. The crowd started whispering among themselves. Isn't he the son of Deputy Director Sun from Snow Phoenix School? If a top student from there says something, it must be true, especially when it concerns the Sun family's name. Sun Mao gritted his teeth and handed over his card. Fine, I'll buy that ghost bead for 8 million. The vendor quickly brought out a card reader. Thanks a lot. The Sun family is really generous. Watching 8 million disappear just like that, both siblings looked heartbroken. If their father found out they spent that much on useless stuff, he'd probably explode. Congratulations, host has earned 200 emotional collapse points, said the system. Lin Ma was thrilled to see his points jump. That's what you get for trying to show off in front of me, he thought. Sun Mao walked up to him with a dark expression and said, you're really asking for it. Sun Lily pushed her brother to teach Lin Ma a lesson. But Lin Ma just yawned and said, what's that? You want to thank me? No need, I like helping people. Sun Mao glared and said loudly, Lin Ma, I challenge you. The crowd started murmuring, a college sophomore challenging a high school senior? Isn't that bullying? Lin Ma replied, you're a sophomore and I'm still in high school. Challenging me? That's pretty shameless. Sun Mao took out the cracked ghost beads and said, if you win, these beads are yours. Do you dare? Lin Ma looked at the box, a bit surprised. Even though the quality wasn't great, they were still worth over 2 million. It was basically free money. Sun Lily taunted, what happened? Scared now? Weren't you acting all high and mighty just now? Lin Ma pointed at his chest and said, scared? Me? I accept your challenge. Soon, a crowd gathered around the platform. Come on, kid, show that Snow Phoenix guy what you've got. I've had enough of them. In the crowd, a girl with twin ponytails stared at Lin Ma and said, "It's him." She clenched her fists in excitement. "Maybe he can win this." She shouted, "Go beat that guy from Snow Phoenix." Sun Mao started unwrapping a bandage on his arm. "Don't blame me if you get seriously hurt." Lin Ma replied, "I'm not stupid. If I can't win, I'll just run. Only an idiot stands still and takes a beating." He touched his arm and summoned the chainsaw ghost. "You talk too much." A heavy ghostly aura filled the air as the chainsaw ghost appeared and rushed at Sun Mao. Sun Mao was surprised at first. He already formed a contract with a low-level spirit, but then he laughed. "Still not as strong as mine." He slid his hand across his arm, and 3 low-level spirits appeared, a drowned ghost, an electrocuted ghost, and a giant. Lin Ma looked serious. "So he does have some skill." People in the crowd started talking. "That's a strong combo, giant for defense, electrocuted ghost for attacks, and drowned ghost for control. What a perfect team." Some even said Lin Ma should just give up. The twin ponytail girl rested her chin in her hand and said, "He still has a chance. The electrocuted and drowned ghosts have long cooldowns. If he can find that opening, he can fight back." A middle-aged ghost master next to her smiled and asked, "Is he your boyfriend? You seem to be rooting for him a lot." She blushed. "No, don't say weird things." Then she mumbled, "I just don't want Snow Phoenix to win." Meanwhile, on the stage, the drowned ghost started its choking skill. It released a wave of water vapor and bubbles. As the bubbles surrounded him, Lin Ma felt like he was underwater and couldn't breathe. "This skill is intense. I can't even catch my breath," he thought. Sun Mao laughed. "Thought you were all that? Now you're stuck." This control effect lasts 2 minutes. Realizing he had to act fast, Lin Ma pointed at Sun Mao. The chainsaw ghost leapt into the air, revving its chainsaw and aiming straight at him. But Sun Mao, always on alert for the chainsaw ghost, told the giant to block the attack. The giant opened its mouth wide and started absorbing the surrounding water. Its already huge body got even bigger from all the water. The chainsaw's attack was completely blocked, even though the buzzing sound was loud and sharp. Sun Mao said, "Is that all you've got? That's disappointing." Then he added, "My attack isn't over yet. Think you can handle this?" Right after that, he told the electrocuted ghost to use its skill, Death Current. Electricity shot out from the ghost's chest and spread through the water. Lin Ma suddenly saw bright electric light everywhere. Seeing the electric current coming toward him, he took a deep breath and dodged just in time, barely avoiding a bolt from above. But the chainsaw ghost wasn't so lucky. It screamed in pain as the electricity hit it, leaving wounds all over its body. The smell of burnt flesh filled the air, and its health dropped to half. But as its health dropped, the chainsaw ghost's passive skill, Bloodthirsty, kicked in. Its attack power suddenly increased a lot. Even while it was in pain, its eyes turned blood red, and it swung the chainsaw at the giant again. This time, the giant couldn't take it. Its eyes widened, and spit flew out of its mouth. Seeing the giant's health drop quickly, Sun Mao looked shocked. How is this possible? How can the chainsaw ghost be this strong? With only a third of the giant's health left, Sun Mao started to panic. This is bad. I need to finish this fast and get rid of that kid. But right then, Lin Ma's senses were sharper than ever. He could clearly predict every move the electrocuted ghost was about to make. He dodged all the electric attacks smoothly, often avoiding them just in time. He moved lightly, like a butterfly, slipping through the electric attacks and heading straight for Sun Mao. Seeing Lin Ma getting closer, Sun Mao's face turned pale. He ordered the electrocuted ghost to aim all its electricity at Lin Ma. Electricity filled the area, raining down like a storm. But Lin Ma had already figured out the ghost's attack pattern. The bolts kept chasing him but couldn't hit him. Lin Ma gave a confident smile as he kept dodging and weaving through the electric storm with perfect timing and smooth movement. The crowd was going wild. A girl with twin ponytails jumped up excitedly and said, "Amazing. He's totally outshining Sun Mao. Looks like the Snow Phoenix people aren't that great after all." In her excitement, her ponytails hit the face of the man sitting next to her, Deputy Director of the Education Bureau, Zheng Shan. Even he was a little surprised. Lin Ma's moves and reflexes really impressed him, but he still didn't think Lin Ma could beat Sun Mao. Watching the excited girl, he said, "Don't get too happy watching Lin Ma jump around. Once Sun Mao uses the combined skill of his contract ghost, it'll be over." The girl replied, "Why are you so sure Lin Ma will lose? Let's make a bet. A green corpse ghost pearl. Do you dare?" Zheng Shan looked at her and said, "Bet with a kid like you? I'm not that childish." The girl raised an eyebrow and said, "Scared much? You dress all fancy but have no guts." Zheng Shan laughed and said, "You think I'm scared? Fine, let's bet. But I don't want your green corpse ghost pearl. If I win, you just say sorry. How about that?" The girl smiled. "Say sorry? That's easy. A green corpse ghost pearl is worth 100,000. I'm going to be rich." Zheng Shan looked at the excited girl and thought, she really looks like Director Gao's daughter, Gao Shishir. Just then, someone in the crowd shouted, "Look, the high schooler is fighting back." Now, Lin Ma was rushing toward Sun Mao with his fist ready. Within a second, he was right in front of Sun Mao. Sun Mao quickly used the drowned ghost skill, waterweed wrap. It was his strongest control move. The drowned ghost released a sticky fluid, and thick water weeds started growing fast. Sun Mao told the weeds to trap Lin Ma. Lin Ma's face turned serious. He knew that if the weeds caught him, he wouldn't be able to move. Still, he charged straight at Sun Mao. Sun Mao laughed and said, "You're asking for it, kid. Once these weeds trap you, it's game over." But the next second, Sun Mao looked into Lin Ma's blood-red eye and suddenly felt dizzy. His vision became blurry. Even though he tried hard to control the water weeds, everything felt off. In the blink of an eye, Lin Ma was trapped in the weeds and couldn't move. Sun Mao laughed again. "What now, kid? Thought you were so great? Just average after all." But Lin Ma, calmly wrapped in the weeds, said, "Why don't you take a closer look at who's really stuck?" Sun Mao froze and tried to move, only to realize that he couldn't move at all. In the next second, his view shifted, and he saw Lin Ma standing perfectly fine in front of him, while he himself was tied up in the water weeds. A look of fear appeared on Sun Mao's face. "Damn it, it's the blood-pupiled ghost. I fell for your illusion. You used its side effect to mess with my senses." Lin Ma crouched down in front of him and said, "You're not totally clueless. But don't you think you realized it a bit too late?" The crowd was stunned by the sudden twist. The girl with twin ponytails cheered loudly for Lin Ma, fists in the air. Meanwhile, Zheng Shan stared at Lin Ma with a serious expression, watching him closely. The conditions to activate the blood-pupiled ghost's backlash skill are really strict, but Lin Ma managed to learn it without any formal training. His talent and understanding are honestly scary. The girl with twin ponytails said proudly, "See? That amazing Snow Phoenix student of yours is nothing compared to him." Hearing that, Sun Lily got angry. "Who said my brother would lose? This isn't over yet. Just wait and see." The twin ponytails girl laughed, covering her mouth. "He's getting completely beaten by a high schooler, and you still talk big?" That made Sun Lily even more upset, and she shouted at her brother on stage, "Brother, use your combination skill and finish this." Sun Mao gave a bitter smile. He had planned to save that combo skill for the upcoming big interschool competition. He didn't expect to be forced to use it now, especially by a high school student. That thought made him even more annoyed, and a ghostly aura started surrounding him. "You asked for it," he said. Then he started inhaling water quickly, and with every breath, the giant's already huge stomach swelled even more, looking like a huge wall of flesh. Suddenly, with a loud bang, the giant's belly burst open, spilling out foul-smelling water. The stench was so bad that Lin Ma almost threw up. "Seriously? Is this your big move? A biological attack?" Lin Ma said, annoyed. But then he noticed something was off. "Wait, where's the drowned ghost?" Just then, the drowned ghost jumped out of the water and grabbed Lin Ma tightly like an octopus. "Got you. Let's go underwater, haha." The ghost started dragging Lin Ma down. Lin Ma struggled, slapping at the water to break free, but the ghost was too strong. With a splash, Lin Ma was pulled underwater. The drowned ghost clung tightly to his back, staring at him with lifeless eyes and laughing crazily. "Die, drown. I'm so lonely, be with me." Choking on the filthy water, Lin Ma cursed in his head, "This is disgusting. Even after death, this ghost wants to pull others down with it." At that moment, a loud roar came from the sky. Lin Ma looked up and saw Sun Mao controlling the electrocuted ghost, building up a thunderstorm in the air. Lin Ma quickly understood the plan. First, the giant's burst created a water field. Then the drowned ghost pinned the opponent down, and finally, the electrocuted ghost would strike with lightning. Even if the bolt missed, the water would still conduct the electricity. It was a clever combo. Lin Ma started thinking fast. He only had enough spiritual energy left for 2 skills. If he used the blood prison illusion on the drowned ghost, he could escape, but he'd still be hit by the lightning. So he thought, if I'm going down, I'll take him with me. He pressed an M-shaped mark on his arm, and a strong wave of ghost energy surged out. Sun Mao looked confused. Why is he releasing so much ghost energy? The next moment, the big-breasted ghost appeared in the sky, holding an ancient zither. Lin Ma looked up and said, "Time for my counterattack." Sun Mao's face turned pale as he watched the ghost start playing the zither. What? He still has another contract ghost? Before Sun Mao could react, the sound waves from the zither hit him directly, causing him pain. What kind of madman is this? He has a ghost and uses it to attack me instead of saving himself? Is he trying to take us both down? And then, to his shock, the chainsaw ghost also charged at him. Sun Mao tried to resist, but water plants had tied him down. He called out to the giant to protect him, but the giant, already weakened from its burst, was easily torn apart by the chainsaw ghost's attack and thrown aside. Sweating in fear, Sun Mao watched the chainsaw ghost slowly approach, saying, "Human flesh, my favorite." Sun Mao panicked. Lin Ma might be ready to die, but he wasn't. He had a bright future. He was the deputy director's son. Dying here wasn't worth it. He quickly ordered the electrocuted ghost to change the direction of the lightning strike. There was a flash, and the lightning hit the chainsaw ghost instead. The chainsaw ghost screamed in pain as his back was burned, flesh flying off, and his bones turned black from the current. Sun Mao, thinking he had won, said to Lin Ma, "You brat, trying to trade your life with mine? You think you're good enough?" But just as he was feeling proud, the chainsaw ghost, injured but still alive, roared loudly. His eyes glowed even redder. This was what Lin Ma was waiting for. The chainsaw ghost's passive ability, Bloodthirsty, had been triggered, boosting his attack power 10 times. Lin Ma gave the next command. Chainsaw Frantic Dance. The chainsaw ghost, now in a frenzy, started spinning his chainsaws wildly, attacking everything within 10 meters. Several chains nearly hit Sun Mao in the face. Terrified, Sun Mao rolled and crawled on the ground to dodge. Just when he thought he was safe, he turned and saw a chainsaw heading straight for his waist. In a panic, he yelled for the electrocuted ghost to block it. The electrocuted ghost rushed in front of him but wasn't strong enough. The chainsaw cut him in half. Luckily, the ghost's last-second move changed the chainsaw's direction slightly, and instead of being cut in two, Sun Mao only lost part of his ear. Backing away, Sun Mao clutched his bleeding ear and shouted in pain, "Ah, my ear. Lin Ma, you'll pay for this. I won't let you go." A voice echoed, "Congratulations to the host for earning 50 emotional collapse points." Still in pain and confused, Sun Mao tried to figure out what to do next. Now that the electrocuted ghost and the giant were barely holding on, his only reliable option was the drowned ghost. He had no choice but to tell the drowned ghost to let go of Lin Ma and come back to protect him. Finally free from the drowned ghost, Lin Ma stretched his neck and took a few deep breaths. That drowned ghost was so annoying. I almost suffocated. The audience watching the match was completely fired up by all the action. Zheng Shan saw Lin Ma break free and said, "His bravery and quick moves are the best in the whole province. Sun Mao can't compare." The girl with twin ponytails was also cheering, waving her fists. "Yes, yes, that's the way." Lin Ma clenched his fists and looked at Sun Mao. "You controlled me for so long. Now it's my turn." Sun Mao felt a chill run down his spine. "What are you going to do?" Lin Ma pointed at him and gave a command to the big-breasted ghost. "Use the skill, the Sanskrit sound claims life." The big-breasted ghost quickly moved her fingers, producing sharp, eerie zither sounds that shot toward Sun Mao. Even though Sun Mao and his ghosts covered their ears, they couldn't block out the sound and screamed in pain. His eyes turned red with anger and frustration. "How can I lose to someone like him?" he shouted. "I'm not done yet. Attack!" He immediately sent 3 fierce ghosts to charge at Lin Ma. But right then, the giant and electrocuted ghost, both already weak, suddenly vanished. The skill had triggered its instant kill effect. Sun Mao screamed in despair. It wasn't just the pain from losing his contract ghosts, it also caused a strong backlash that hit him hard. Plus, those 2 ghosts were ones he had trained carefully for a long time. The combined pain and emotional blow made him spit out blood and collapse on the ground. A voice echoed, "Congratulations to the host for earning 200 emotional collapse points." Lin Ma calmly looked at Sun Mao lying unconscious. When contract ghosts are destroyed, it causes serious backlash on the ghost master. He's just facing the result of his own actions. The referee looked at the situation and announced, "The match is over. The winner is Lin Ma." Lin Ma grinned and walked straight to Sun Lily. He held out his hand and said, "Give me my ghost bead." Fuming, Sun Lily took out the box of ghost beads and shoved it into his hand. "You'll regret this, Lin Ma. Let's see how long you can stay this proud." Holding the ghost bead, Lin Ma waved casually and turned to leave. "These 2 siblings are like my lucky charms, giving me both money and points. What a deal. Time to go home and absorb these." Zheng Shan looked at the unconscious Sun Mao and shook his head. This so-called genius from Snow Phoenix couldn't even beat a high schooler. What a shame. I don't know what Gao Longshan and Sun Deli were thinking, sealing away such a talented guy. Bunch of idiots. Just then, the girl with twin ponytails looked excitedly at Zheng Shan. "Hey, uncle, I won the bet. You have to keep your promise." Without saying a word, Zheng Shan handed her a green corpse ghost bead. She happily kissed it. "Yay, easy 100,000. Uncle, you're the best." As she turned to leave, she happened to pass by Sun Lily and overheard her whispering to Yellow Hair, "Kill him. Make it quick and clean." Her face turned pale. Oh no, they're planning revenge. She saw them rushing after Lin Ma and got worried. Lin Ma's spiritual energy is low, and his ghosts are all injured. He can't fight them now. He helped me get some payback. I can't just ignore this. Meanwhile, Lin Ma had no idea what was coming. He was happily thinking about rewarding his ghosts. "Chainsaw Ghost, I'll get you some meat today." Chainsaw Ghost was so excited he was practically drooling. Lin Ma then handed the big-breasted ghost an extra-large bra. "Wear this so you don't get tired while walking." She snapped back, "Go away." Seeing this, the blood-pupiled ghost felt left out. "Why are they getting gifts and I'm not?" Lin Ma grinned and pointed to a bag. "Don't worry, I got something for you too, mentholated ointment for your eyes." Blood-pupiled ghost looked suspicious. "Wait, isn't that supposed to be eye drops? What's this ointment?" Lin Ma acted confused. "Isn't mentholated ointment just another kind of eye drops? Remember, you even used super glue before," a voice said. "Congratulations to the host for earning 40 emotional collapse points." The blood-pupiled ghost got angry. "Are you messing with me again?" His loyalty dropped by 5%, now only 15%. Lin Ma was surprised and quickly tried to calm him down. Bro Ghost, don't be mad. I was just joking. See? There's no menthol ointment in the bag, just eye drops. Only then did the Tsundere blood-pupiled ghost forgive him, and his loyalty went back up. Lin Ma walked into an alley, happily humming a tune. Suddenly, the blood-pupiled ghost warned him, "Be careful, something nasty is following you." Lin Ma casually replied, "Bro Ghost, you're amazing. How can you tell what's behind you while looking forward?" The blood-pupiled ghost gave him a look. "I'm over 200 years old. I'm still very sensitive to danger." Then he said with concern, "What now? Your spiritual energy is gone, and Chainsaw Ghost is weak. This isn't good." Lin Ma sighed, "Whatever it is, we'll deal with it." Just then, a shadow on the ground moved toward him fast. The blood-pupiled ghost shouted, "Watch out. It's the corrosive ghost slime." Luckily, Lin Ma was ready. He quickly rolled forward to dodge. When he looked back, he saw a patch of purple liquid on the ground, giving off white smoke and melting small stones. He took a sharp breath, realizing how dangerous it would have been if that stuff hit him. A yellow-haired man walked out, smoking a cigarette. A ghost covered in sores stood next to him. "Nice reflexes. No wonder bro's son lost to you," he said. Another yellow-haired guy with sunglasses landed on a rooftop nearby. A bat-like ghost clung to him. "Enough talk. Just finish him off and get revenge for bro's son," he said. The blood-pupiled ghost warned Lin Ma, "Be careful of the vampire. This is going to be tough." Lin Ma signaled for everyone to fall back, but there was a thud behind him. A big guy in flip-flops was standing there, holding a coffin in one hand, blocking the way. "No way out, kid," he said. Lin Ma looked serious and asked the blood-pupiled ghost, "Bro Ghost, can you take him? You're our best shot right now." The blood-pupiled ghost looked hopeless. "I'm still just a malevolent spirit with only 2 abilities. If I reached the wicked spirit level and had my ultimate move, maybe I'd stand a chance. Right now, I say we surrender." Big-breasted ghost quickly raised a white flag. "I agree." Only Chainsaw Ghost growled, "No, I still have 10 drops of blood left. I can fight." Lin Ma smiled, "You're really fearless." But with enemies all around, a vampire in the sky, and no energy left, surrendering seemed like the only option. The smoking guy said, "So you're Lin Ma, huh? Who gave a loser like you the guts to mess with Snow Phoenix's prodigy?" Seeing he was cornered, Lin Ma tried to buy time. He smiled and said, "Are you guys here to rob me?" The guy flicked his cigarette away. "Do we look like we need money?" Lin Ma replied, pretending to act shy, "Then you must be here for my looks. But with so many of you, I'm not sure I can handle it." Congratulations to the host for gaining 30 emotional collapse points. The guy on the roof almost choked. "What the hell? That's disgusting." The smoking guy and the one in flip-flops both looked grossed out. Angry, they all charged at him. "You're disgusting. In your next life, don't mess with the wrong people." Lin Ma sighed, looking frustrated. "Come on, was that really worth a beating?" It was too late to dodge, so he got ready to summon Chainsaw Ghost. Just then, a shadow flew by and dropped 3 tear gas canisters. The alley filled with thick smoke and a strong smell. The attackers started coughing, their eyes tearing up. "What is this? Who threw that?" In the chaos, they lost sight of Lin Ma. He quickly took out the bra he had bought for Big-Breasted Ghost and used it as a makeshift mask. Suddenly, a rope dropped down in front of him. A voice shouted, "Grab it!" Without thinking, Lin Ma grabbed the rope. "Who is this now?" "Doesn't matter. I need to escape." The rope pulled him up through the smoke. When he looked up, he was surprised. "Wait, didn't you rob me yesterday?" The girl with twin ponytails smiled and held out her hand. Less talking, more climbing. She helped pull him to safety. The smoking guy below shouted, "Hey, third one. He's escaping. Go after him." The guy with sunglasses jumped onto the vampire ghost and flew up. "Don't worry, he won't get far," he said. He was feeling confident. "You think your nightmare ghost can outrun my vampire? You're about to learn what a real chase is." Lin Ma looked back and saw the vampire getting closer. "He's too fast. What now? Should I summon a ghost to fight?" The girl smiled and started digging through her pocket. "Hold on tight and trust me. I'll show you my secret weapon." She pulled out a spray can with a chili pepper logo and sprayed it behind them. A thick cloud of chili spray hit the vampire and the guy riding it. The guy screamed, "This isn't fair." The vampire's eyes burned from the spray. Screeching in pain, it lost control and crashed into a building roof below. Lin Ma and the girl finally escaped safely on the nightmare ghost. The girl laughed. "So, Lin Ma the flirt, holding my waist like that really tickled." Embarrassed, Lin Ma let go and scratched his head. "We just fought last night. Why are you helping me today?" She replied without turning around, "I've got a score to settle with Snow Phoenix. I can't just sit back while their people run wild," and Rand said. Lin Ma quietly said, "Oh, I thought." She cut him off. "What did you think, that I was falling for you? Keep dreaming." With a Tsundere look, she led Lin Ma into an old tunnel under a bridge. Lin Ma looked around, surprised to see furniture inside. "You don't actually live here, do you?" And Rand was already lying in a hammock, swinging her legs proudly. This is just one of my hideouts. I've got a bunch of places like this for when I'm being chased. Now Lin Ma understood. No wonder you carry tear gas and chili spray. You're good at escaping. Then he asked, you saved me, but I don't even know your name. She laughed, my name's Ran. Lin Ma raised an eyebrow in surprise. What a coincidence. My mom's last name is also An Da. He was shocked, because it was such a rare surname. Other than his mom, she was the only person he'd met with that name. And Rant's eyes lit up with interest, but then her face turned a little sad. I got it from my mom. She's been sick for a long time and is still in the hospital. Lin Ma felt bad for her. She seemed like a younger sister, but she didn't have the carefree vibe most girls her age did. Now he knew why. He gently patted her shoulder. Did you start robbing people to pay for her treatment? Is that also why you hate Snow Phoenix and the Safety Bureau? But Rand suddenly stood up, looking angry. That's not the main reason. Her face tightened with rage. I hate Gao Longshan. I want to tear him apart. Lin Ma was shocked by how intense she was. Gao Longshan? Isn't he the chief of the Safety Bureau? What did he do? And Rant's voice turned cold. Years ago, Gao Longshan used sweet words and fake promises to get info from my mom. Once he got what he wanted, he dumped us. He didn't just hurt her, he even took away my life-granted ghost and gave it to his daughter. Her hands were clenched in anger. That ghost doll Gao Shishir loves so much, it used to be mine. It all clicked for Lin Ma. So that's why you look like Gao Shishir? You two are half-sisters. Lin Ma's face turned serious. What kind of person steals a life-granted ghost from his own daughter? That pain is worse than torture. And Gao Shishir, acting so proud on TV, while hiding such awful stuff behind the scenes. Tears rolled down Rant's face. He didn't just hurt me, he hurt my mom too. Feeling furious, Lin Ma gripped her shoulders. That guy blacklisted me all over the province. He's my enemy too. You saved my life, and now I'll help you get revenge. Let's take down the whole Gao family. And Rand stared at him, a little stunned, as he waved his fist around in frustration. Even though everything was serious, his over-the-top reaction made her feel a little better. And this is where the video ends. Like this video for more juicy content, and smack that subscribe button for regular updates.